This conference will now be recorded.
If I have a gun, I can check Susan, but I don't.
I'd like to call this mayor and council workshop meeting to order. All the council members here except for Ray Hanson. Ray had hip surgery today, so hopefully he's going well.
We got new hip.
Yep. Maybe I can remain. Okay, first thing we have on the agenda is citizens' comment and poll.
Colin Chamber, 15 Young Avenue. So tonight, I'm here to ask the mayor and council for permission, and that is to look into finding more information about the Maryland State Retirement Pension System. I have been an employee of the town. There are a lot of nice benefits of working to the town. One of the weak points is retirement. The town, as everybody knows, does face some turnover issues. I do feel like having a retirement system, a pension and defined benefit would be a big draw. One of your current employees was actually a participating member, Drew, from Middletown. Local municipalities can buy into this system, and it allows them to have better buying power. So I haven't done a lot of research just because I feel like it's not in my purview as a member of the BMUC. But with the mayor and council's permission, I would like to pursue a little more, possibly if I can arrange a representative to come into the mayor and council, talk to you guys about it, give you more information. But preliminary research, the Maryland State Retirement Pension System has 420,000 participants. So it's a pretty big pool. They have estimated $66 billion in their pension fund. And there are over 150 local government agencies that participate. That ranges from correctional officers, teachers. Some of them get the pension side, some of them are retirement. So there's two different pools. The state of Maryland is the primary sponsor, and they are the ones that manage it and run the whole program. So if the mayor and council would allow it, I would be more than happy to look into it, try to get some more information, see if we can't get something going.
But then, we did do some update to our retirement pension plan program just recently. Was that like?
Well, it's probably been almost 2 years.
Well, it might have been 2 years ago. Where
Is there a defined benefit, or is it just like a?
They can now pick their own, you know what I mean? Like they can kind of pick more choices of where they want their money invested.
They get to manage.
They get to manage
their
it more, so
pension.
they can. have a
Well,
little
they get
more
to manage
control
their
over their
401, I
return.
guess, is what you might want to call it. But what you're saying, I think, is what I'm understanding. This is an actual pension plan.
It's a, yes.
So
It's a
this is a
defined
guaranteed,
benefit.
it's a guaranteed, monthly.
It's a defined benefit.
Isn't the state's pension plan underfunded by the budget? Like, isn't it in a deficit?
Well,
I mean, I know you're gonna get it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's pretty underfunded from what their total like liabilities are of everything collectively.
Depend on which system you're in.
Right, because there is the pension system and the retirement systems, and each has their own pool. Like correctional officers have their own pool, teachers have their own pool, and then there's the municipal pool, which is Walkersville participates, Middletown, and there's a bunch of smaller municipalities that chip into it. So,
Does Hagerstown City still, they used to.
as far as I know, I thought they were their own entity now.
The police went under the OSO, but the city back in 2010 was still under Maryland State. So I don't know if they changed or not, but in 2010 they were.
I don't know enough about that.
Yeah.
I know they have they do allocate money from
Yeah.
the city, but I don't know if it goes to this plan or some other private plan. I can't say.
I didn't know how far you looked into it, but they used to.
I kept it fairly in the infant stage just because it doesn't fall into my purview as the commission that I sit on, but with permission, I would continue looking further into it.
Do you have anything you want to add to that?
It's a good system. I won't, the fund itself, I think is well managed. Again, the overall responsibility for that is the state. I know the concerns that are there, but the pension fund itself is well funded. It offers one thing, it offers a certain degree of retention. Because I can tell you, having worked in an environment, people that are 2 or 3 years away from getting vested, they're going to think twice before they pop off and decide they're going to go find another job. They've invested, I think the investment period now is 10 years and change. It used to be 7, but it was 10. But somebody that starts getting to 7 or 8 years, getting vested and getting a guaranteed benefit, And then what ends up happening is they get past and they're vested, right? So now they're gonna do it. They're like, wait a second, if I keep working here and I keep making more money, my retirement goes up. And remember, the key for that area, it's not lucrative by any means. You're not going to live on it solely. But that and Social Security, you'll be fine. Are you gonna travel the Riviera on a large yacht? No, you are not. But are you gonna worry about whether or not you can go out to dinner on Friday night or something when you're 75? No, you won't have to worry about that. So it does offer that element that you don't really think about, that does keep, employees think about that kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So would this be in addition to the one that we have, or would this replace?
It would be a problem. I'm speaking out loud, but I'm thinking it's gonna be an either or.
Because you guys still have, the town
Yeah,
have to
but
put
the town
into,
still have to
yeah.
fund it, so.
But you could have a period of time where you say, until this period, we're gonna phase this program out, this one. They'll explain all that to us if you're interested in it. The question is, you gotta
You think
manage.
it's 10 years to 100% vested now?
It is 10 years, I know that.
Well, I mean, that's what we have too.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 years for
My wife's in
6
the
years,
old
100,
She
100%
stopped,
vested.
she
Yeah,
stayed
it
with
is
the old
six.
system.
It's 6 and 7%.
Yeah.
And she's glad she stayed.
The ones that stay with the old system are quite happy with their decision.
Yes, yes, she is.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
The shoe fits.
It is a good setup. And terrible. Yeah, you get that information to Kim, doesn't hurt to look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you looking out for us. There's no other citizens that signed up.
No.
Presentation of thin blue line flag to police department. Tyler Ring. Tyler, how are you today?
Good, how you doing, sir?
Doing very good. Thank you very much.
No worries. So I am a veteran of the Army of 15 years, so I know what it is to serve. I know what it is to have lost, so I wanted to. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Oh,
all.
wow. Nice. Very nice. I tell you what, Dave.
Tom,
And Tom,
go.
Get either side of it, hold it.
right. I'll let him in there too.
So big, my goodness.
Amy, you send that. to
Yeah.
us.
Absolutely.
Here, I'll take one side, you take this, I can take one.
There you go.
Guys, 1, 2,
That is very, very nice, sir.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. That's beautiful.
That's really nice.
All right, so thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job.
Didn't expect it to be that. So,
Thanks.
Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Did that be on one side or is it?
Do have to talk with the shadow box with his bands and stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's gone. I have real nice to a shadow box as well, so.
I'm gonna talk to my dad about building this shadow box
Okay.
once we
Yep.
get everything we want to put in there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
No worries.
Thank you very much. I have his information if anybody else is interested in ordering something from him. He's local, so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, next on our agenda, Dick's not here, so Ruben Moss is going to take Dick's place on the National Road Museum. Floor is yours, sir.
I will down here. So first off, Dick sends his apologies. He fell under the weather and wanted to be here. He wanted to make sure that we express the continued thanks of the National Road Museum to the Mayor and Council's time and support. So a few things have been discussed at past meetings, and we wanted to give you an update on what's going on with those. First off, we did have our open house during the Spring Jubilee. Even though it was raining between the two museums, we tallied over 100 visitors, so it was a fairly good turnout. We will have 2 more open houses on May 19th during the wagon train passing through, and on June 1st. So these are to give some more support from the community, let people know what we're doing, give people previews of the exhibits that are coming in October. We, at a previous mayor and council meeting, there was discussion on the HVAC system, and the town approved up to a $9,000 match if we were to get a grant to replace the failing HVAC system at the National Road Museum. The grant was approved, and the bid came in at $14,930. There were multiple bids, and it's the lowest. It was still MS Johnson, which was the first one we got. So the match that we need for the grant will be $7,465. So that is the amount that we're going to need. The grant will match the other half, and we'll be able to get an all-new HVAC system in there ahead of the opening. It should be put in, installed in May, we'll need that by June.
Will you let us know that, right, let Joan know,
Okay,
please?
we will pass that along. The next item that was discussed was the front awning and what repairs that might need. Dick met with the Cronites to take a look at it, and they found that there is actually a gap between the awning and its gutter. That we believe is where the water is actually coming through. So we have a quote for $250 for the repair, and wanted the town's permission to proceed. And then if you were still willing to support that, then we can just invoice, have the town invoice for that $250 repair.
That's a lot cheaper than replacing that whole awning.
Yes, it is, very much so.
Greg told me he looked at it, he said, didn't think it needed replacement, he couldn't find where it was leaking.
Yeah. I believe he said it's going to be an extension of the roof, the rubber roof, so that it goes over the gutter.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion. We pay $250 now.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it. Yeah, I'll.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Same, motion carries.
When will this work be completed?
That we still have not determined. That is one piece of information that didn't write down for me.
Okay.
But we can get that to you once we know. I believe he needs to talk with Doug to get it.
That'd be nice if you could get it done before the end of this fiscal year.
Mhm.
Okay.
When is the end of the fiscal year?
June 30th.
June 30th?
The air
Very
conditioning's,
possible.
the air conditioning's gonna work out great.
Yes,
It's gonna
yes.
finish in this budget.
So, yeah, there's a very good chance that'll happen. We will get with Doug and Dave.
Appreciate that.
The third update, we've talked in the past about bathrooms, and that project. Dick has gotten 3 contractors involved. 2 have come out, looked at the site, and have given us quotes. He has, or in the process of getting quotes together, he has given them a deadline of May 9th to submit their bids. So that is the progress we have on that. And the one last item we haven't
Did
discussed,
he specify American standards?
he has not written anything down here. I've only been in a couple of those meetings, so I'm not sure everything that was discussed.
Because Greg emphasized that to him, because if something happens to them and they have to work on, it's easier to get American standard parts than any other.
Yeah, he did give me a list of the parts he specified. I can't remember that. We can go back to his contract.
Appreciate that.
And then the last thing, I have something to hand out to the mayor and council in just a moment. There's a podcast that travels around, so a lady that travels around the country and visits museums and tours the museum and then sits down and interviews a volunteer or a staff person at that museum. She focuses on the Mid-Atlantic, and she's done as far away as Vegas, California. She came and did an episode at the National Road Museum, and the follow-up episode is actually the trolley station. So we have a little card she made for us. It has a QR code and her website so that you can go and listen to the broadcast.
Thanks.
And we have encouraged her to come back and visit the other museums at some point in the future as well.
Did you say you're looking for your displays to be in October?
That is our current deadline. We are still on track for that. We have had to cut back a couple things, but we will have a very extensive exhibit.
Your windows turned out very nice.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. A lot of people come.
Saw people working on them, getting them, they did a fantastic job getting that on there, that's smooth and that's straight. Very good job.
Thank you. Well, thank you again for your time, and that is all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You are. Glad to see that moving in the right direction. Okay, Kathy?
Yeah.
Farmers market storage shed. You don't bite.
You know that.
State your name and that. No.
Actually, I wanted your final blessing to get a shed for the farmer's market. I think we discussed it before. And I asked, only got 3 bids, and took the cheapest one. It's also local. They're also the same ones that did the shed, Myers. And he's the only one that actually gave me a price list, a quote, and said that if we have a tax exempt, we could get tax free. And this was kind of an issue with the community garden shed. He said, if you let me put my logo on the side of the shed, I get another discount of $166. So I'm bringing that to you now. I don't know what your stance is on that, now that manager is no longer with us. But it's a 6x8 shed. Oh, by the way, my car has been in the shed during 6 months of farmer's market season. So it'd be nice if I could have my car back. But it's a 6x8 shed, so it's a little thing. Vinyl siding, which means no maintenance in the future. I don't want any windows because I don't want people peeking in there and taking nothing that's worth anything. I don't have a lot. And then I talked to Greg, and he is totally on board with it because we want to put in the corner, right there at Poppenberger Alley and Potomac Street, you know, the corner of the farmer's market there, where Greg has put in like 4 posts because people drive through there instead of going around the little road to cut into the parking lot. So he said, I would love to have a shed there, then people would definitely not get out and cut through there. And I also talked to the park board, and they did we did your walkthrough last week, and Laura Schneckberg said that we got the blessing from the park board for that location. And I think that's about it. The total price would be $1,440 with the discount, is what?
You said 1440.
$1,440.94. Without the discount, it would be, let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. That is with the deposit.
I know, but it's really.
Sheds from these people. What's the price?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay.
1913. Yes, 2080 and then a discount of $166
Okay,
and then no tax.
okay.
So
So just under
1913,
2,000.
just under 2. Sorry, I was looking at the deposit.
That's still a good price.
And when could he have it?
He could have it ready in like 2 or 3 weeks. Greg also stipulated that it have rails on the bottom, and it does. And Greg he would need to know when it was going to be delivered, because he and the gang can level it, because it's kind of on a slope right there, and then
They're gonna
gravel
put
it.
stone and gravel.
Stones, yeah.
I'm not picturing where it's going, but if everybody else is fine with it, I'm okay with it.
Just have a map.
Okay.
So you come into the farmer's market here.
Yeah, police station's back here.
It's in,
Oh,
here's the entrance into the farmer's market.
oh, so you're coming through and coming out.
There's some right here.
So it's up here by Potomac Street.
Yeah, here's Potomac Street.
Okay.
Right beside the alley.
Gotcha. That's all.
You
Okay.
cut across through there, this way they won't be able to.
It's not in the way where the road's gonna eventually come through.
No, the road's down here. Yeah, that's what,
What do you want to
yeah.
see here?
No, I just kind of, I understand is making
The
sure
road-
it's
the
up
road's
from where
over
the road's coming through, where the connector finally comes
It's
through.
over there. So that's good. That's perfect. That's all I'm.
Is the Meyer sign up on the one in the garden?
No, because Paul wouldn't let them.
Where's it gonna be at? Right on the front door or on the side?
I don't know, he said it's too big, it's too like,
It's right across the back.
I would say either that or the side.
Or the side
Since there aren't
facing,
any windows.
side facing Potomac Street that makes sense to me for the
That's
maximum.
exactly what I was,
The one in the community garden does have their little tag on the, above the door.
Yeah, just too made.
I mean, I
It's
don't
small.
care. It's fairly small. You can really see, you gotta look for that.
oh, okay. See, I didn't look at it.
Yeah, it does have,
It's a little. Size, right? And you
Yeah.
really don't notice it unless you're looking for it.
All right, what should we look for?
Yeah. People. Well, council,
I'll make a motion.
okay, without.
Well, the other one, for some reason, he didn't want it on the other one, so I'd say no. I'd say don't have it on that one either. It's gonna already have a little bag. I know, it's $65. How, where, that's a lifetime value. Where is it? There's the budget, it's still under the grant. Yeah, I mean, I pay very much.
and that, well, and that's, yeah, so,
Somebody's my question.
Okay, and we're,
so if I understand where the money's coming from, I do believe this is where we've reconciled with the books for the last couple of years. Is that what you're thinking?
that's right.
And I'm gonna be done with you then? Is that-
Probably not.
Probably not, she said.
You would.
I'll just see, yeah, but that's gonna clean up all those tabs here.
It should, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it should cover it.
Okay, all right, I'm reluctant to put the sign. I just think it's a little, I'd rather
Yeah.
pay the extra. and just
Me
be
too.
done.
That's my motion.
There's like,
Yeah, that's
huge.
it.
I mean, can you get one that's like 1x2 or something? Or, he didn't say you could do a small one.
Well, that'd be
Just do
like you
that
did-
one.
Just like you did down,
On the
Yeah,
community.
it's just above the doors, it's got his name and their phone number, I mean, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You second.
So let's
Yeah.
try to put out the sign, because the motion's without the sign, right? So I gotta
Yeah.
have it on 60.
So,
19, 13, 60.
60.
That was with
That's
the
with
sign.
It's 2 grand. Oh, 28. Sorry.
28, we're still okay, we're still okay.
28.
We're
Okay, we
still-
got a motion.
No tax.
Did you second it, Tony?
I did, I'll make.
So I have a motion and a second to grant our permission for the building, no advertising for 2060, 2080. Any other discussions or questions? Then all in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carried.
Here's the
Thanks for doing all that, I know it's a struggle, but we got there.
And everybody comes to the market.
That's right.
That's Tuesday,
A
and,
week from
4 o'clock.
Tuesday.
yeah,
Well, they're 10th year. Pretty amazing.
You leave that out, Terry's. gonna-
good job.
Terry,
Okay.
sorry, rain, Saturday.
Oh,
I know. Are we all?
yeah.
That was a mess.
I'll try to steer it. Yeah, but I'm very glad to hear you. Can't control that. That's right. So. We have the thing. So since I was here last, I've gathered quite a bit of information regarding your questions about the Main Street Maryland program. Do you want me to start with what you had asked me, or have you looked at that application any further? Do you have any other questions?
I just got the email late today.
Yeah, I mean, I read over the information that Kim forwarded out today. So,
Yeah, no, that was just in case you wanted the in-depth information that I gathered, because I'll just hit some of the highlights about it. So some of the questions last time we discussed this were about staffing options. As you remember, the program can be run by a nonprofit. It can be run through the town, or it can be run as a hybrid. So I was able to obtain a job description for the part-time Main Street manager in Newmarket. That is one of the attachments I sent you, but based very much off the 5 pillars of the program. It's organized, it's around design, organization, promotion, economics, restructuring, or historical rehab. And then the 5th one is clean, safe, and green. So their job description fits into those 5 categories. They talk about, now this is from 2022. They are now at the point where they're looking to get a full-time. So they did also something that because right now we're just going for affiliate application, which would be part-time. So they've worked off this with the 5 pillars. In Middletown, it is a full-time position, but that is a hybrid. So she is she's the executive director, and technically employed by the town government, but they have a MOU to the nonprofit. So that way, she's included in insurance and benefit programs to the town. I also got an example of what an MOU could look like if they were to do something like that with a nonprofit. Of course, we are still waiting for a nonprofit with the Lewisboro Town Alliance. So, I mean, ultimately, this is an example of what you could do. And what some of the Main Street Maryland stipulations are as far as how it be separate with a separate budget. We can see our pros and stuff there. Right now, we're not at that point. We don't have nonprofit status for the town lines. You had asked me about time commitments. Mostly, the part-time managers range from 15 to 20 hours, and average salary $30 an hour. Much of what they do is planning events, helping promote the town on social media channels, marketing, basic storefronts, working with businesses to increase foot traffic. So they did send me an example of one of the positions that's run through the town, and how they kind of grouped that together with one of the town staff descriptions. So that's an option. So this is a description of a Main Street manager / town clerk. But as I read through it, it's mostly focused on the Main Street manager and that program. But then in this case, they were also training, using that person to staff the office, answer phones, answer citizen questions about where they can go with the information. They did some training for this person to be able to cover for the town clerk, also attend meetings in the town clerk's absence, and help with other things. So that's how this town chose to do it. Again, the way it reads to me is the majority of the Main Street focus, but then it is kind of a back up. This description also included, this person taking over like social media, updating the town's website, the community calendar, social media posts for the town and the Main Street program, and some of those students as well. Let's see, and we talked a little bit, salary was one of the questions, as I said, the average hour seems to be $30 an hour. So given that hourly range of 15 to 20 hours a week, we're looking at maybe 4,000 to 32,000. Yeah, she did also tell me that, you know, that there's a wide range in this, obviously. Some of these have grown, you know, the towns have grown to quite large programs. So, for example, Main Street, Waynesboro spends 95,000. This is run through a full nonprofit. They spend 95,000 on one full-time and one part-time staff. And that's all through a nonprofit. Chambersburg has one full-time staff only, operating within the Chamber of Commerce or nonprofit. And there's paying that. Funding options, as I mentioned, once you're involved in this program, your grant opportunities have become more readily available. I did learn that the grant program that is open to affiliate members as far as helping to get money towards staffing, that is open right now. And the deadline is May 17th. I know. So Catherine Bratton told me this, and she is a former Main Street manager, you know. Also, she is trained, she has done the training for this grant, and in the past, she says that they have allowed you to apply if you submit an application and you still don't know, you know, if you're somewhere in the system, they still allow you to apply in that. So you would have to confirm that with the state again. But Catherine did also say that historically, these funds for this assistance grant, it is for fiscal year 20. And she said, mentioned that the funds for this grant should be awarded during the upcoming fiscal year. In the past, they've always been available to be drawn on for reimbursements beginning in March. So in theory, you can take the remainder of the calendar year to plan this out, interview, to hire someone early in 2025, and then still have that money to support the rolling by next spring. So she's very willing to help for you to review the application. She's willing to help you get that done. Do you have any other questions about specifics about this?
So my main concern is getting this town alliance. And I think that has to be goal number one. Because everything else is gonna fall under that moving forward. I've read through some of the email chain and, I mean, it just makes my head spin. That we've been, you know,
Spinning our wheels for way too long.
for such a long time. So, my recommendation is that we work on the town alliance. We're meeting with Catherine on Friday, regardless. We can touch base with her. I mean, if she's willing to do that so that we can get that grant started, that's not a problem. I mean, we can always spend the money. It's not like it's a problem there either. So, but we've got to do something with the town alliance there. And I don't know how, you know, we need to do that.
I know, and I don't know what to do. I mean, thought we were,
They jumped all through all the hoops and
Yeah.
everything, and it just
you
hasn't.
know, we've followed the steps.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know. Brown's supposed to get call the state again. So we gotta go see what the state, because now Ann says we gotta apply for federal, and I don't. Why we did the state then?
I don't know why she's
Yeah,
saying
I don't know
federal
the
either.
confusion there either. So, if you're asking for permission to move forward in any way with this Main Street, I guess it's for the grant funding right now. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because I don't know how long this process will take as far as us, they could come back to us for revisions and questions, and I don't know how long this will take before we get it.
Yeah.
That's not like.
So if a grant's approved, how long does it last? Because at some point, then we have to fund this person.
Well, and that's what I want to talk to Catherine about more on Friday, so we could have that in our notes, which. we
It's
have
a
on that
fiscal
sheet.
year, it's,
Yeah, we added to our sheet for FY '25 anyway. So, I mean, we'll talk to her. And-
I did look on that, it's gotta be spent in that fiscal year.
Yeah.
But the range of things you can spend on it's pretty broad. The description.
But again, I mean, just I'm saying, if we're committing to hiring someone, we're committing to hiring someone. I mean, to me, right now, our first goal is we need a town manager, I mean, police chief, you know what I mean? And we need to staff the police force and make sure we're paying the employees we got before I hire another person. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it's great when we start, but you know what I mean? We have to make sure we
Then
have
it's gonna
that
be.
commitment then for the
We
future
fully
to
understand
continue that
So-
person. So I don't know where we are with the budget or like, you know, if we even thought about that.
No. No,
We
I'll-
put it in ADC, we put it
Yeah, they got it.
So,
for like a.
yeah, I would probably say that let us start talking to Catherine on Friday. And maybe if this goes real smoothly tonight, with the budget, and I have that wrapped up. I think that's a good chance that that's gonna happen more than not. Then I can focus more on this town alliance. Because we've got to get that finished. I mean, there's just no other way to go. And,
Yeah.
But it's held up down the road.
well,
I
there's,
don't know.
And
Yeah, there's a lot of
Keeps calling them. You can turn them on and call.
Yeah, I-
But
It should never, it should never.
it does with the state.
Christie got her 501, Christie or C3 or whatever. It only took a few months. All who, thousand.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
I knew
not
like
gonna-
it
I'm
should
not
take-
taking a promise that we're gonna do this yet. I just want to talk to Catherine, make sure how
Have we
things
talked
are.
to any of the businesses?
Oh, yeah, I mean, they want that dedicated person. Tackle some of these things that, we have ideas for, and we have, we don't have the time. That person, I think, once you put someone in that role, can really take forward with the positive momentum that is now. So it's just all these things that we try to push through it.
When's the deadline for Catherine's grant?
But May 17th is
Yeah,
that.
17th. We meet again on the 9th, 13th.
Yeah, 13.
Deadline's the 19th. That'd be too much short notice for her to write it.
I didn't look at how detailed the actual application.
I just think it should go ahead and start writing it now
Yeah.
in the anticipation of,
I'm sure she's written before for,
Yeah.
something like a little.
Like I said, we're meeting with her Friday. And I can reach out to her tomorrow too, just to say, hey, can you start looking at it? Is it-
Yeah,
You have a window of opportunity to get it written. And I'm not saying to submit it yet. Because we've got to figure out where we're going.
how much time, yeah. That'd be good.
We'll put it on the agenda.
So if you apply for a grant, then you get awarded it, say, well, we decided we can't use it, if you don't pass it on to someone else, right?
I can ask that question to Catherine.
I think they do.
I mean, you know what I mean, like, we wouldn't,
Right. we
if
wouldn't have to
some
do
other circumstances or we're at a position.
it depends on how the proposal of the grant is written, and there are sometimes consequences for turning that money back in.
Okay.
So you gotta look at fine print in those grant proposals.
That's what I'm asking, you know what I mean, like.
Yep.
it's-
It depends on how the proposal's written, or how the grant request is written, yep.
We can find out.
So that would be a question I'd ask, you know what I mean, is that what?
Got it.
How long have we been waiting for?
So, Town Alliance,
2 years.
we sat down with Ann 2 years ago. And we told her what we wanted, we told her this is our goal, to have a separate entity that's not a separate from the town. And with an idea that someday they could take over events to be able to raise money and sell beer and things, and do these things that we can't do. And then also to have this Main Street Mall potentially run that organization. So first thing she said is you need bylaws and articles of incorporation. So we did that. We got bylaws, we got articles, we got everything approved by the state. So that, then it was time to submit for nonprofit.
And that's been how long?
That form got submitted, I would say, June last year. Because I know that the board of directors was set, they had the organizational meeting so that they could put that information in that application. That was in May last year. And so then it got submitted. We went ahead and used legals into it. But at that point, we didn't have a manager, and we were kind of got our hands slapped for trying to talk to the attorney without going through somebody. So we were just like, okay, let's get this done. Legals are going, well, here we are.
Okay, it says here, depending on what it is, it can take 6 months or longer.
So
3 months to a year, if it's just regular, that you have, file a form in 1023, it can take 6 months or longer.
So what,
So it-
they submitted it, and what the state has come back and fine like that. One time, there's just things like they wanted somebody to, told them to re-sign something. And Ron would send it back, and then they'd be like, no, you gotta re-sign. He's like, wait, you mean sign or print? And that's all it was, because they wanted it printed, not signed. But it took 3 times of this to get an actual chance. So, then when the state did come back and say, we can't do this because the entity already exists. I'm like, what's this? Because you said we had to set this up, and that's where the problem is now. Because they're saying, well, you already exist, so you can't do that. This is the process. I don't know, that's, they were trying to, and then the state said maybe if you submit some kind of letter form, there was some legal jargon that you could submit, that maybe they could make it work, but I don't know. And then we tried to get Ann to help, and then she's like, well, this has to be filed for last state. It's just frustrating.
I'm agreeing.
Have you looked up where's my application on IRS.gov?
Ron Humble is the one that is, he's on
But that's
EDC.
right where it is, it's IRS, like that's
See, it's not.
federal, and you're going to state, I think you have to do it federal too, that's.
It appears that that's what it has to be first.
I mean, every.
So maybe it's just a matter of dissolving the state side of it and going, I don't know, I'm not in that field, but we're certainly gonna have to get some answers, and I think that's what we need to do. So we'll work with Catherine, we'll get some of these things figured out through the grant funding, the deadline, the spending aspect of it, but then the focus right now is the town hall.
Because it makes a lot of.
Sure would. And then everything else with the Main Street kind of like fall into it. So we're kind of like on a hold pattern.
So what do you need from me regarding timelines? Do you need something from Ron? Or are we back to Ann?
You're gonna let me review that lengthy email.
Sorry,
No,
but
no, no,
everybody,
It's very detailed and and there's a lot there.
Here's
So
what we
let
did.
me unpack that and then,
why? And here's what
Yeah.
happened. So
yeah.
that way we all know.
I'm also not quite ready to commit to spending $30 for a person.
Right, yeah,
To help
I-
businesses make money when we need to be paying our people.
Right, I'm with you.
Competitive wages to get ourselves back up.
And I don't know if this is
You know what I
something
mean,
that,
like,
that we
I
can get
mean,
grant funding
just want to
for
make sure that.
ongoing.
Yeah, you can,
So,
like that.
you know, if that's the route we're gonna go, but, you know, we gotta make sure we do that, so that we're not trying to subsidize it from the general fund. I
What
get that.
happens with most of these is that they start out initially through the town. And then once you have that entity that's not enough, then you can go for more grant funding. This particular one was technical assistance. But then you can also have events and raise funds and they would, they'd have their
Right, and
own.
the businesses are contributing,
Budget.
they're getting
Oh,
outside
here's
benefit, and
Hey,
they're
Then it
charging
moves it from us a
fees,
little
so.
bit, it goes over to the alliance
And
and.
then
you know,
they are
That's why,
responsible for that money.
that's why we asked them to do the alliance, that the businesses would take over.
Right. Right, because if they pay in, they're vested, and then they pay back out.
Yeah, so that, yeah,
That's-
big picture goal, the
That's the
whole thing.
goal.
Yeah,
Okay.
That way the employees off their payroll. and-
Right.
I think that's where we are.
How do we get there?
well, we need, we got Ron's number.
Yep. Thank you. Have his name spelled correctly.
I saw that, and I'm like, he's.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, workshop business, MTAC security officers, service agreement. We closed session, hired them on an emergency 60-day basis. We now have to formally accept it in mayor and council meeting. And we understand that guys are doing a pretty good job for us.
We've had one officer so far, Billy Gilbert, and he's already been out. He helped Tom this weekend on 2 separate accidents. Tom and Dave on an accident and quasi road rage incident. He's been in to see just about all the businesses. He's got nothing but positive feedback. I haven't heard anything negatively, so that's positive.
Carol said she was coming home tonight and he was sweeping up glass in the square.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's just a really nice guy. He cruises through the park. He'll check the bathrooms every time he cruises through the park. He was down at the Little League field, just mingling with people when they were playing ball games this weekend. He went up to Middletown Valley because they always used to like for us to kind of be in the parking lot when their tellers walked out. He's been through checking all the bags, seeing what's your closing time? Do your tellers need somebody here, to walk out? He really is, he's doing a good job. He really is.
So did the attorney give us any advice as to how long we're allowed to operate under emergency agreement?
60 days.
60 days, which is I think what we
Yeah,
said, yes, in our closed session.
Yes.
So,
But she hasn't she didn't send any response back today.
About the letter to the state, she has not said
She
anything about the
hasn't
letter.
sent anything back to me on that.
For the special police officer
Correct.
designation. That's gonna be a road, a long road.
Yeah, that's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
I think that's why she's reviewing it for a long time.
I'm sure that's gonna go back, for months, to get it right.
Yeah, she made some changes to the agreement and MTAC agreed to her changes. so.
Yeah, and I know they've got about 5 officers that are going to rotate. We're just kind of moving, because we have to backfill schedules where they're
Yeah,
at. So
absolutely.
Philly, one of them guys, he'll work 7 days a week. And he's just a great guy.
He's just a really good guy. He's very personable, easy to talk to.
Yeah,
He's just a really nice guy.
He even told me that he's gonna put in an application.
He did. I've got it, and we need to set up an interview. Yeah.
So,
Can you do Wednesday after our interview at 5:30? Can you do 6?
so we got 5:30 and 6.
5:30 and 6, yep.
well, can I make a motion to continue
Yes, ma'am.
accept the MTAC agreement for 60 days as we discussed in our first
I'll
session?
second.
That's what I was asking for. Thank you, Mary.
Fantastic.
We have a motion and a second to accept the 60-day agreement that for MTAC Security Officer Service Agreement. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Abstained, motion carries.
So now, are we waiting on advice from the attorney as to when we have to put this out for a bid? You know what I mean?
Not right now.
To
Since
extend
this
it
is
past 60
emergency,
days, or,
after 60 days, we probably will.
so that's something, do we want to put this on the agenda in the future to put out bids? Or do we need to wait to get some
Oh, let's hope.
approval from her with wording of what?
I think you're reading my mind.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
was thinking the same thing.
Well, I just, you know what I mean, like, cause I don't wanna wait till the 60th day when we.
But I think this, it might depend on what Mr. Riser, they're interviewing and that's the thing, and do we have any permanent leads on board?
Right, but I'm
Yes, you're
thinking
right.
we're still probably gonna want at least this
I would
ability to do stopgap, you know, because
Yeah.
we can hire someone, there still takes a while before they're allowed to be by themselves or have all
Depends
the,
on how they come on board.
yeah, exactly.
All types of
And
So
so
we've
we're gonna
interviewed
stop.
3 people. One person is a sergeant in Washington County Sheriff's Office. He can start about the second week of July.
Early July.
30 years of experience.
So there's nothing to transition there. He just comes over and he's ready to go.
Well, there's still a transition period. There's still an FTO. We still have to do the full hiring background and everything. What I'm trying to find out from the commission is how I can slow walk that to try to meet those 2 deadlines up together. So literally, he quits there, he starts with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
been
a process.
done.
It's just a
but
process.
I know, that's what.
We have
Yeah.
time to work through it because we have over 2 months and I think it's very doable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far you want me to keep going with this, but we're
But again,
interviewing.
it's a prospect, an interview, which y'all can change.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we're interviewing 2 tomorrow. One has his eye set on the chief of police job. It's Lieutenant Brian Cluse for Maryland State Police. He's got 30 years in Maryland State Police. And I think he would be excellent. We're gonna interview Billy.
Billy.
He would be in the cats. So that is looking at a little bit of time for him. I think when we get to the budget, how do you guys foresee this going? I mean, how, do you want to pay 3 police officers and a police chief and possibly keep security, 1 or 2 people? Because that certainly would be doable with this budget. I think if you want to see 5 police officers and a police chief, I don't think it's doable with this budget. I just, I mean, but I think there's a really good avenue to make this work, and give you guys the coverage that you haven't had in years, so, yeah.
Well, I would think maybe we need to put it on our May agenda then again, so maybe we'll have more advice from the attorney. And, we need to put out a public bid, we have time to put out a bid so that we're meeting the deadline, so in 60 days, we can at least keep this in place while we analyze what other avenues we have. That's all.
Dave, it's wishful thinking. I don't know whether we're gonna get up to 5 officers that quick or not. It might take us a while to get back to that number.
Well, with what we interviewed, I think we could have a strong 3, we could have a strong part-time, and we could have a chief of police,
Yes.
and still within this budget.
Yep.
I mean, and a ton of
And
experience.
keep 1 or 2 of these guys.
Oh, I mean, again, time will tell how it really goes. But yeah, I mean, and I know, I'm gonna sound like a salesman when I say this, but you have to be careful with taking the lowest bid on something like this because
Yes,
of
because
the
you don't know
quality.
what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean,
And what we've been hearing from the public and from different people, I've been getting emails and nothing's been bad about this.
Well, we just decide
No, I know.
purchasing
Yeah.
policy, we have.
I understand, yeah.
You know what I
We'll,
mean?
we'll,
That's
double- we'll double check with
constraints of
Andy
what-
legal.
Unless, there's a way to do it as a pilot program and work away with that, the attorney can,
That's,
you know,
that's why we're gonna check with Andy to see.
But, your bigs, your allies and your Maxons are gonna
Yeah.
send you somebody down here for $16 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Somebody walk around with their hands in the pocket.
Well,
If they show up, because they're not gonna have, if one of our guys are sick, we're gonna have somebody fill in, you're not gonna have it open.
Yeah.
For us, they're called posts, so you're not gonna have it open post because,
I can tell you on the back end, dealing directly with Impact, now I've dealt with Dave, obviously,
sure.
Mike, who's the CEO, and Zach, who was kind of he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Instant response. I mean, I don't hesitate, they don't hesitate to get back to me right away. If they don't have the right answer, hey, I'll find out for you. So it's been really easy for me to deal with them on the back end as well. Just more positive to feed to you guys.
Okay. So we're good on that. Thank you. Fiscal year 20.
How about your letter? Do we need to comment about that? Or I mean, I liked it.
I'm waiting on Ann to
Oh,
respond
okay.
back.
No, she means the letter that
The
you wrote.
letter from the mayor. 'Cause you had.
So we had some bad feedback when we originally told everyone that we were having security guards in town. So we had Howard, we drafted a letter, Howard signed it, we put that out.
So you put it out.
Yeah, so it's on the website and it's, we haven't heard anything negative since.
Gotcha.
So,
Not at all.
I think they were just more concerned,
Gotcha.
negative, but more on the concern side because we kind of sprung it on everybody. I mean, we had no choice, but it is what it is. But I think it caught a lot of residents off guard and they weren't quite sure. There was a lot of unanswered questions and Howard's letter answered a lot of those questions.
I had a state trooper, lives up the street from me, stopped me and asked me about it. And I told him what they were doing. He said, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
He probably,
okay.
he probably knew.
And Cluj that we're gonna talk to, I mean, Brian's all, it was a good idea, Brian and Brian Cluj and Brian Albert asked, like, if they want pictures of their uniforms, like what they, what they would be doing. We're getting GPS installed on the car, and also Billy or whoever the officers will be carrying one, like they have 10-second relays on them, so we'll know every 10 seconds where they're at.
Well, at our mayor's meeting, all the municipalities that are dealing with the sheriff's department are having a problem.
Yeah.
And they were asking me a lot of questions about, and
We've already gotten calls, yeah.
they said, if we can't get more response from the sheriff's department, we might go.
Well, they're getting ready to give up the
They have
airport.
the-
Yeah, we actually are probably gonna take that. Yeah, so, because the airport wants 16-hour coverage. Right now, the sheriff's office is only giving them 10, but they're really getting like 6, but they're getting billed for 10.
right, and like we had brought up too, and, the response time is what really matters.
Yeah.
If you are in a situation and you have a 15-minute arrival time, so much can happen in those 15 minutes. And I think that's what people weren't originally thinking.
Yeah.
Because, I mean.
Yeah.
Any situation can go like horrible in 15 minutes.
Well,
Well, they were just assuming the sheriff's department had staff to pick up where something.
Right, that they're just gonna show up here.
And the sheriff's office
That's
is,
your job, if somebody
they're
doesn't show up.
just as understaffed as we are.
Exactly.
They're struggling too. And it's not,
Yeah, it's
it's,
universal.
and
yeah.
and since this is kind of a closed shop, we put our heads together all the
Mm-hmm.
time, me, Mike, and Zach. And we do have some concerns, and some of the issues that the citizens were bringing up, I think, like, really soon, we have to put what MTAC won't be doing. Like, they're
Right.
not gonna knock on your door. So, you know how the world is. So everybody sees that MTAC security's down here. Somebody gets a cheap T-shirt and a patch, and now they're knocking on doors, breaking in houses. So, I mean, we've tried to think of all the avenues that,
Well, it's just a crazy world.
it is.
So you
It is.
have to think of,
Yeah, right. I mean,
the
what
broad.
do people do? And I mean, they're not, clearly, they're not gonna be pulling cars over, so you don't have to, because one of the comments, I'm not stopping. Well, we're
Well,
not
I know,
stopping.
but then it's also, then they know there's no traffic. You know what I mean? Surveillance, so then they're like, couldn't speed through town. I also want to.
Believe me, we still have traffic surveillance.
Yeah.
So let them speed,
Yeah, I mean, but I think we have to be clear on what they.
I agree. Yeah, that does need to be put out there
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have people impersonating law enforcement.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely.
So, I mean.
So it's just information and education, that's all it is.
Yeah, it is.
If we get that out there routinely on Facebook, on the webpage, on whatever,
Yeah,
just get it out there, it'll,
just the basic do's and don'ts. This
Yes.
is what we do, this is what we don't.
That's
Yes.
what I think needs, me, Mike, and Zach all,
Yeah.
that's what. it
Because it's
needs.
hard to
you
It
know.
was hard to talk to those people.
Well, that service agreement though is gonna be on the website, isn't it?
It is.
And it tells what.
Yeah, but a lot of people unfortunately don't read that stuff. They don't change me.
You're not gonna read that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get on Facebook and type some.
They're
Yeah.
reading anyhow, it's just, you know, forming their opinion on whether they're informed about it or not.
Yes, sir.
I've got two things to bring up, police department side, if you guys are okay with that. The park, we've had, as you guys know, two malicious destructions of park property. The door was damaged in the bathroom. The big blue door was damaged by a rock. And then recently we had two juveniles playing with a fake gun and broke some tables. My solution to this, and this is strictly on you guys, would be to put up signs that say 12 years and younger are now not allowed to be in the park without the company of an adult. Because between the Juvenile Reform Act, I cannot charge a juvenile under the age of 13 with a crime, which is really frustrating, but that's where we're at right now.
Can you take that back to the park board?
I thought what we did with them is,
No trust.
but
You can't
You
enforce it.
can't do a no trespass
You
for
can't
under
do
the
it
age of
anymore?
12 now. I mean, under the age of 13.
Can't
Because
enforce
the
it.
chief used to do that.
You
Can't
can
do
give it, but you can't enforce it.
Well, you can't enforce because you couldn't arrest them if they showed back.
Exactly. If they show back up, so the only thing you can do is kick them back out of the park. I mean, so you can't like.
And they can tell you
somebody
no.
over that age, you can have them charged with a criminal trespass.
Yes.
Under the age, you cannot.
No respect at all.
None.
Well, first question, did you find out who did all this stuff?
Yes.
Yes, and I
With
charge.
the cameras? Okay.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I cannot charge. The only thing I can do is write my report, write my findings, get my facts, and then submit them to juvenile services.
Okay,
They're the ones that have to charge.
okay.
And how they charge or how they get restitution back to the town is wishy-washy as well, too.
But yeah, what's been done before is that they've actually got Greg to fix the doors or whatever, how much it costs, then charge the parents.
So that goes into my report. That goes to juvenile services. Juvenile services takes all that information and then they do restitution.
And what would happen then is if they don't pay, they don't go down to our park.
True, but if they're under the age of 13, you can't enforce it.
You can't enforce
We
it.
still
I
can
think
go down.
the first
We can
thing you're
still have-
asking for is this to be posted as a park rule. right?
Yes.
Correct.
Like, for us, if we put this as a park rule,
I don't have a problem putting
Is that-
signs up.
then at least gives us something to tell them, right?
Yes.
And a starting point. Like,
Exactly.
some people will abide by it, maybe not drop their 12-year off unattended, but some people,
Well, they walk down from the middle school.
yeah.
walk down.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
I don't see a problem with putting signs up.
Did I guess, you know, that, is- yeah.
Does that need to go to the park board, though?
Park board, but I guess that needs to go to park board.
Bring it up to the park board.
So parents can't be held.
Me personally, I don't see any problem
If they
with
show back.
There, we got his.
Mm-mm.
So if you're talking about,
Per the state's attorney, Dave.
I mean,
you're talking about changing signs or posting signs, just another, and down at the park, the sign that's down by the Boy Scouts building, that location, that basketball court area, that sign says that, what the heck, I have a note, sorry, to read one side. It says no pets in our park. But then you walk past that sign, and you go up to the first path that walks in, please pick up after your pet.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time when we didn't have.
There was a time. Try to change signage,
Yeah.
let's get it all.
All correct on the thing.
Now, I don't think the sign out front, Kim, out by Pavilion 2, states anything about pets, but you need to look at, there's rules on both of those.
Okay.
But I know the one down by the Boy Scout says no pets, but then there's a sign all by the walkway that says pick up after your pets.
That must have been forgotten to take
Yeah.
down when we took.
You know that, if I could thinking about that, we discussed that a few years ago on here, if I'm not
I don't
mistaken.
remember it, but
It just never got
Well,
taken down.
my suggestion would be, before we spend the money to change the signs, we probably ought to let the park board weigh in, because there
Yeah,
is something else
I
they
agree.
discussed that
I
needs to
agree.
be
fix some of the signs as well, but I think
Well,
the goal is to, get
it's-
this added to it.
It's always been
Maybe
the
we can
town.
take off the no pets and put in the no 12-year-olds.
It's always been the part of
White
the
House.
thing is to, whatever the police do, whatever,
I'm kind of concerned though, putting a sign up, kids aren't gonna read it, and then the parents are gonna be pissed off when their kid gets in trouble for being down there without, and the parents don't know it. Because the
Well,
parents
we
don't
would have
go
to
down
do,
there.
we would have to do a grace period, just like we would do anything else, like,
Anything else.
hey, look, this
Put it on,
recently
put it on
changed,
Facebook,
yeah,
post it on the website.
I understand, but
Well, I'm not opposed to putting that at a public hearing if you think that's a big thing, but honestly, do we really need 12 and under down there without some supervision?
But they do. They
I
all
know
do.
they do.
You're gonna
They
get
have
it.
rules.
sure do. It's just gives us something else to call parents and be like, look, they're not supposed to be down here.
I
If
think.
they're not down here, then they can't be down here by themselves, you have to be here with them.
I-
Because we have
I
no
think
reason.
we
It doesn't have to be their parent, it just has to be
Somebody over the age of 18.
a,
Right.
Person, and then that kid's gonna say, I'm.
Ricky's gonna take it back to the park board.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if we're updating funds, because there's obviously some other things, maybe they can put that on their agenda to.
I know you can't charge them, but there has to be a way to charge parents.
Yeah, that's,
Parents are-
Once
I mean,
kids-
that's what Kevin always did. He would just go ahead and have Greg fix it.
Yeah.
And whatever it costs, he'd send it to them.
And
That was through DGS. I'm just kind of doing that. That was through
Some do,
DGS.
some don't, if I remember. I mean, well, those parents who care,
You're gonna get that.
and those who can't, no.
Okay.
We have started receiving payment on the door.
Yeah, Brian told me that the other day, so.
So what did they do to that door? I saw the dents.
They threw a boulder at it and kicked it and then scratched it up and then kicked it again and then threw another boulder at it.
Yeah, it was messed up.
And then I got one more thing for you guys to argue about.
Sorry.
Airbnbs. We recently had an issue. You have 3 Airbnbs in the town. We recently had an issue with one of the Airbnbs. I'm not going to put the location out there, but it was a CDS issue, a domestic violence issue, and then a standby to pick up property issue. This was just this month from
All
that
happened within a
one,
couple days of each other.
yeah, from that one Airbnb.
One being one Airbnb.
But the house itself has 17 calls for service. So I haven't done the other 2 Airbnbs to see if there's a pattern, but I just wanted to bring it to the town's attention that these Airbnbs, they don't do background checks or anything like that. And
Isn't there like a nuisance kind of law
You
or
can, yeah,
something?
you can
If we
find
can't-
the actual
owner-
owner of the
Yeah.
property. Yeah.
Drew, is there anything we can,
You can go to the property owner.
Right,
Okay.
That's what I'm
exactly.
saying,
It's a
you
nuisance.
can file
I
nuisance.
know
on
the
property.
county has
And
some.
anytime there's a 911 call, they can be fined.
okay.
Yep.
There we go.
That's how we handled that one situation up in that
Greenfield.
development,
Yep.
Okay.
because it was a nuisance, and I sent a letter to the property owner.
That was
And look,
because
you
there was
got-
a renter in there. Up
Yeah.
one. Yep, I remember that.
But this is just me bringing it to you guys to let you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you let us know.
Do you know how many Airbnbs there are in the town?
3 in total.
You're sure there's only 3?
There's 3 as of the research that I did over the last couple of days. There may be more on different platforms, but just under the Airbnb platform, there's 3. But there's other platforms that they can go to, just like Uber and stuff like that. So I've done a little bit of research where other towns have had issues with Airbnbs. I don't know if you can say no Airbnbs in the town, but
That might be hard to.
Yeah, I think that would be,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing the issue out there to you guys.
Yeah.
I would like
Can
to
you check into
find
that?
a law
Keith,
that's already on the books. that
Sharpsburg
we
has
can use
a
to-
few Airbnbs over there. Okay. Oh, Joe, thank you, gentlemen.
You're a busy man.
Fiscal year.
No.
Grant budget review. Okay.
Let's do it. So, we got the budget up here. We're starting with the general fund.
And then hold
Do you have budget numbers for the?
I'll hold it.
See, can I get-
Are you, yeah, who's
You
doing
have
the budget?
Departments for the police department, or Amy got those.
Dave and I both know.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
I
the
just want to
numbers
make
up
sure
here.
somebody
Yeah, no, we're,
able to get in.
You want
You want them to hang around for all this?
Well, no, we can go straight to the police
There you
department.
go.
I mean, that's not a
Oh, you
problem.
guys are scholars.
Thank you, Derek. Show you one.
Steve's dying up there.
I'm just, it's almost past my bedtime.
Yeah.
If you retire, you wouldn't have a good time.
You're right.
So, the public safety section, the big thing we changed there is the police officer. Okay, and then we put a note in there, we've got options, we can do 3 full-time at 65,000, because we heard that was a concern with the starting wage. Or we could go back to the 5 at 45. Either way, we're comfortable with that, and the fact that we hadn't been full staff for such a great while, we just thought maybe that's part of our problem, is that we're not starting them out where they need to be.
I think it is. If you tell me 65 tonight, you get Robbie Whittington, guaranteed. I don't think he's taking less because HCC is gonna pay him 63 and get his kids free tuition. So, I think I know what he told us he wanted, and I talked to him, and I think 65 would do it. I think there's so many options. I mean, and Amy, please correct, I think 3 full-time, a chief, and a part-time. And maybe keep the 1, if the budget allows it, possibly go to 2 security officers. I think you're golden with that coverage. If you get 3 officers and they each work 12-hour shifts and opposite 12-hour shifts, then you got the 3rd one gives you the rotation. The part-timer gives you relief. I just think it's better. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I mean, you had Ballesteros and Dangler, it was absolutely worthless. I mean, so it didn't matter what you paid them, they weren't gonna do anything. If you get Tom, Robbie, and Billy Gilbert, that's the best 3 officers that you've had that will work outside of Kevin and Tom by themselves. I mean, you're just not gonna get people at 45. You're just not. And I mean, the budget's not gonna allow for you to have 5 at 65. That's ridiculous. I mean, it truly is. I mean, you're talking $350,000, I mean, just for officers. And where I see the ability, I mean, you still have the chief at 93. You're not gonna bring the new chief in at what Kevin was making.
Right.
I mean, I'm not being smart. So you got $20,000 in savings there, roughly, and I mean, yeah, there's certainly money in this budget that, I don't know what your health and welfare and different things, if that was based on 3 or 5, but the chances of them coming down are great,
No, the other costs are gonna be related to the
Related.
salary number, it's not gonna change.
Okay.
Well, no, your healthcare will, because it's based on number of people.
Well, yeah, health.
And the workers' comp.
I do
The other
think-
taxes, yeah, that are percentage
So-
of your salary.
But these guys aren't gonna use sick leave like they.
No, I mean, again, you got 2 people that if they got 8 hours, they took it. That's
right.
That's unheard of, or it wasn't me and Kevin. I mean, so.
So that's why we came up with this option for
Yeah.
you, just because we thought that would be a way to just
I mean,
try to get back.
My
to some-
chief concern is if you take away 3 of those officers, because right now we're at 5. You don't,
Hey, now we're at 1.
well, I understand, but when you look what he's doing.
Yeah, I know.
If you take away that officer and then all of a sudden, okay, you get these developments put in, you get,
Well, as development, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
exactly.
and that's-
Right. How difficult is that to add those spots back?
It's
Not,
It's
because our tax
We got
base
we got
increases.
revenue coming.
We do this every year, budget every year.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
What about if,
Yeah.
so you start off, like you said, the 3 officers and the chief. What if halfway through the year, you're like, we'd really like to add a 4th officer? Is there money?
That has happened
do
on
that
2 occasions
is
when
Well,
I've been
that's
here.
where we always look at the budget. Did
Yeah.
our real property tax money come
Right.
over, under? Did we?
I
get-
think that's.
That's why I'm always
pretty much
asking where the
Yeah.
money's coming from.
I know 2 separate occasions, just in the 5-year span that I've been here, where we've added an officer,
But
and it's
again,
been mid-budget.
I mean, I'm looking here right now. You've only touched 50% of your salary budget this year. I mean, so the money's there. I mean, if you go 65, That's 195.
Okay.
I mean, there's still 20 grand left in that budget.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
not to mention
So
another
if it
20,
has,
you
it
know. the
has little
chiefs.
parentheses around it, that's what's.
I- I-
Well, and I guess my
Can't
other
go by that-
concern,
Hold on, you can't go by that
If
year-to-date
it's
number. I
black.
think that was back in March.
It's
March.
March,
Okay.
I mean,
But
again,
you're halfway, well, through halfway to the year, you still got half the budget. So there's still.
But we
a
also
windfall.
had fruition.
No.
my other concern would be, Kevin was a working chief.
Yeah.
The next guy you bring in, is that what the town is looking for? They're
Yeah.
looking for a working
Me
chief?
personally.
yeah, no, I'm not.
We don't
If that's the guy you're looking for, then I think you're fine with what you got up there. If you're looking for an administrative chief, that ain't gonna cover it.
We had,
You're gonna burn him out.
we had one that never went out of the office other than to go get something to eat.
I know.
I do think that the chief should have the ability to work 8-hour days, Monday through Friday.
Oh, I agree.
I
don't
think
think
the
that's
chief
on-
needs to be here during the day.
I
Yes,
agree.
I agree.
The only time we need him at night is.
I agree.
Council meeting.
1000% agree.
Or if there's something.
But Kevin would never do that.
Kevin didn't like working during the day. He liked working at night.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna have an issue with that, with the people that are gonna apply for this job. I think that's what they're gonna, and again, if you
They don't
have
understand, they got work shift.
a chief working, 8 to 4, 7 to 3, 9 to 5, whatever it's gonna be, 3 officers rotating 12-hour shifts and a part-timer willing to do whatever. I mean, again, I just, you're not gonna get and keep people for less than 65, not when they can go to Fred, Washington County right now.
You're beating a dead horse thing over there, so that's what we
Good
did.
quality people.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying that's the right thing to do. You guys are on it with that compared to 5 and 45, so.
And then the only other thing that Kevin had mentioned to me just about a week before, was that, if he needed to do some type of a hiring bonus, and we were talking about vacation.
Vacation.
And so,
He offered me that too.
we're gonna look at everything that we can, but I think this is our best option for y'all.
Oh,
And we do have 25,000 in contingency, which could be used
Right,
to
yes,
supplement
right.
salaries or wherever is needed, you know what I mean, in the budget.
so the police capital outlay, that's a vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we spent 0, did we order
We
one?
wouldn't order, no, because it wouldn't be ready until September
Okay,
of this year.
so we're gonna get one, that would get 3 new vehicles, which would take that away for years to come. If we got another vehicle for all 3.
But that's another thing, you save on some vehicle expense if you're only got
Yes.
And
3
yes,
officers,
And
you know,
yes.
versus.
Yeah.
'cause
yeah. So,
Yes. So yes, I don't disagree. I think it's a good plan. As long as that chief is a working chief. If he's not, I ain't gonna work.
I just think you need to be clear.
I think
My
the guys
intention
that
on
we
maybe have
talked
to
to
be
so
cheap.
far are probably working.
Yeah.
But,
So vehicles, you're good? We just
What?
passed over that?
There's 70,000 in this
Say we
year's
need to buy
budget
one
to
next,
get
but
one.
then
We need to buy
We'll
one,
have to buy one next year.
I think we need to
Like,
get
if you
one.
go on the 30,
Budget.
Right.
Yeah.
might as well contact Ford dealership.
I already have.
Yeah.
I already have. It's already on order.
Dr. Nelson.
Yes.
So my comments on the police budget was, I think you might have to up your licensing.
Kevin Bear said.
I was at 12. 'cause we
He says
spent
you owe him a breakfast.
11, we've already spent
I'll
10
buy
this
him
year.
Lori this year.
And I was thinking uniforms, you probably would have to
New
put a little more
uniform.
because you're hiring new policemen, so.
Mhm.
we would have to-
Yeah, and we've probably given that we
got
got the security on and their uniforms are very similar to ours, we might want to change ours a little bit. Just so we can distinguish ourselves.
If I change it on here, Brian, we're all gonna have it, right? Yeah. So you said the licensing?
So midway down, police fees, license dues,
Okay. So-
Yeah. so I'm looking at historical, we spent 10.3 already, 3/4 of the year through now, we spent 11 last year, so I'm saying put 12 in,
Okay, punch it in, Brian.
from 10 to 12.
can't punch them up here. Uniforms,
You
I
can
was
just
saying
point.
Uniforms at least double to 4, I was thinking, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if you're.
I'm just thinking if you gotta hire new
Yeah.
uniform, new employees,
Okay.
we're gonna have uniform expense.
Okay.
They were my notes.
okay.
I also wasn't sure about training, you know, we haven't spent much this year, we spent 35 before, if we're hiring new police.
If you're hiring somebody brand new and putting them
Training.
through the academy, you're gonna need more money in the training budget.
So I wasn't necessarily, didn't know about putting them through an academy, but don't
Well,
we
we're
have
trying
to,
do that.
every time we hire a new one, don't we have to have a little bit of training that they have to do? because of-
Yeah, I mean,
So I just wasn't sure if maybe.
But that
4,500.
little, a lateral transfer is in-house training, so it doesn't cost us anything.
yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
But,
Dave does that.
Yeah.
An academy, which again, you know, we interviewed one last Thursday that needed the academy, you had to go, but we,
Yeah.
and again, if we look at Billy, I mean,
So there's two possible, and I know, you're right, Kevin didn't usually do that because he says you're without him for a year.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you are, I mean, you're. yeah.
Based off of what we're trying to build,
Yeah.
it's something we might need to think about.
And then the other thing I looked at was the cell phone.
Okay, well, let's not get past the training.
Okay.
So are you all comfortable at 3 or is that not?
No, if you're gonna put one through the academy, you're gonna have more than that.
Okay, what is the?
I don't
number?
even know what the academy is, Dave.
The
you-
academy's like 1,500. But then the ammunition and stuff.
And I
on
think
top of
Tom's
that.
contract was like 5.
Okay,
And they do
Okay.
do a good job because we got a
Yeah,
good example set.
I think you need to at least have 5 or 6
Whoa, whoa,
there.
whoa. Don't put all that pressure on the academy.
So then you're looking at maybe 8, because if you have 3 plus 5, so the academy.
I think 6 would do it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
6 would
6
do it.
total would do it.
Make it 6. Or no, I'm sorry, I put you.
And then, like I said, you do have some contingency money that's
Yeah.
there that can be allocated as.
And that would
needed
definitely, you know,
In there.
yeah, we could move some of that around if need be, but I think that's more than fair,
Okay.
guys.
And then.
And then the other, the cell phones, like we've already spent 1,500 this year, it was 2,000 last year, so I was thinking it ought to at least be the 2,000. but-
Did we,
Right, so that's $25 per person per month.
That's what they do, yeah.
Mhm.
But of course, now if you're having less people, it might be okay.
yeah,
So, yeah,
I
we
think
did
you'll be
it, so, you know what I mean, I was just looking at kind of, I just kind of tried to look at, you know.
Is the overtime budget the same?
Yeah, it went up a little bit, it went up to
Yeah, it's not a
$2,000.
lot of overtime.
But you're pulling the overtime from Wes's budget. From,
Yes, traditionally, we don't use a whole lot of overtime, so it should be,
but I remember you all passed that you're taking Wes's salary.
that's for just this budget though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not the new budget.
Yeah, yeah, that's, yeah, this is for next year.
I just didn't want to make sure that that wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you get cell phone?
Yes, she does.
Can you move the cell phone from 18 to 12? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
That is what you saw.
1,500.
And that's from.
Okay, got it. All right, what else?
That was all my notes. on the police.
Was there anything else that stood out to you guys?
Nothing jumped out at me. How about you, Dave?
No, I mean, again, we talked and just trying to figure out what the 214, if it was gonna be allotted for 3 at
3, and now
65 or.
there's 3, we
yeah,
know
or
that.
5 at 45, so yeah, I like it, I mean, I like the 3 at 65.
I'm gonna be honest, it makes me nervous, but
Okay.
I think we can work with it.
That's what our goal is.
Well, you.
To make her
achieved your
nervous.
goal. I am nervous. You
That's
achieved it.
3 officers and a chief, right?
3 officers, a chief, and me,
And a part-time.
and a part-timer.
If we change up the uniform to set ourselves away from MTAC, what colors would be approved, that kind of thing?
Well, what colors do
We'll
you
wait
have?
till we have
idea?
the police chief to make that call. That would be nice.
It depends on what color you're looking at.
I think
Yeah.
that's-
Paint
How
it down.
about a paisley print?
I think we go with blaze orange.
And you know, we can, MTAC can change their uniform.
Right, that's what I was.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yellow boots for a collar.
so,
There you go.
Oh, that would be
Mustard,
bad.
It's gonna look like mustard.
Yeah. I'll be there for this officer around.
Anything else for the police
I was
budget?
thinking.
That was mine.
So wait a minute, I just thought of something. The salary, that was for 3 full-time officers. That doesn't include a part-time officer.
well, it's only 195 for 3 officers. So there's really
So it's gonna be
20,000
another 20 for-
left
We
in there
don't know
for
what,
part-time.
we don't know what the new chief is coming in at yet either. There's so many variables. We
Yeah.
can't,
Like I said, I'm nervous.
it's a dartboard.
I'm nervous. It's okay.
Relax. Andy.
Well, when we get through, we might have some money that we can throw. This is still a draft.
And you still have a contingency down there. of
Right.
$21,000.
Not that we could use for the impact or similar type.
Your goal was to get the car for less than 70, and save some more.
I have every year.
She's done a good job.
I'm just saying.
I'm at least 10,000 under every
You
year.
see, that would be money that we can move to, you know,
Your goal was to be
there,
20,000.
overtime.
All right, Tom, you're driving a Prius.
Let's get moving, we'll be here all night.
Oh,
So, Mayor Lee.
We good?
yes, I know, I'll probably be the only one.
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
anybody-
guys.
I mean, I'm at the top of the general fund, so if there's something that you.
Okay, my first thing I flagged was, admissions and amusement tax, in the grants and church,
I'm gonna need help.
on the top of, so
No.
like this on page 1.
Don't for stand up.
Okay,
Um,
I'm looking.
It's in the next one, grants and shares.
Okay.
So you have 13.5, we've already gotten 18.7 this year. And
30
21
and
8
6.
the year before, so I feel like that's.
That's police department.
Okay, what's your feeling?
Um,
I do know that.
I would at least put in 20, but I'm thinking you could probably
Change
do
it, right.
22 because,
Right.
I mean, our budget last year was 20, and like I said, we've got events going in out here that they are taking
We'll make it
admission,
25.
which means we're gonna get a cut of that.
We'll make it
Same
25.
25 might be
Different.
pushed it, but if you want to make it 25 because you need it somewhere else, I don't
Yeah,
care.
you
But
wanna make
I feel
22?
like you should move that up.
22. Next.
And then the hotel motel, I think we've got that understated as well. Because we got 42 in 2023, we're already at 20, and that's very lagging. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean, your March payment probably was from January.
Okay. What's your number?
Yeah, and it might even be December, so, I don't know, you want to go 35?
Okay,
What do you think?
that's on top.
I mean, I just.
I was erring on the side of being.
I know, and I always do too, but I'm just trying to figure where we needed for the money.
Okay, next.
On your American Rescue Plan, we said you were gonna meet with Jason, but I just think it maybe
Over this
we would
juvenile
put like previously.
I got Leon Devis down in Baltimore.
You know, what I mean, just as a notation.
Yeah, trying to get an answer.
You want to write that note down, Brian?
And he might tell you how, like, you might have to call it part of your reserves, there's some way you do that, don't know. The town farm rent, again, there's some historical data, it's not a,
Thank
like,
you.
I
Be
would
careful.
so people know, it's not like new money.
Brian, what
You know
was
what I
it
mean?
for the?
It's always been 20.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's been the same amount of money.
It's got a bank 2485.
plug it in, 2,800. Okay.
So I just was saying, you know what I mean, I would just put in, so people understand that. Okay, the town planner salary, is that,
That's.
allocated in the other funds as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Payroll
Dave.
processing, I
Take care.
might,
I'll
Take care.
30/20, right?
yeah, it's 32 gonna cover it, you think, because you're at 3277 last year, does that need to go up? just a
Where are
tad?
you?
Payroll processing, administration,
Oh.
sorry, I'm just going right down the page.
Payroll processing should be about the same amount.
So I don't know whether you want to make it 33, that's what it was last year. And it's close, it's not material.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, this mouse works different than mine, that's okay.
So you want payroll, again?
I was gonna say 33, because it was 3277 before.
33 right here. Whoop,
Yeah.
hold on. Oh, there you go.
No.
Yeah, down one.
Whoop, down one. There we go, 33.
Yeah, if it increases, it'll be just a tiniest smidge.
So,
Yeah.
and then I wasn't sure, office equipment, I thought might be understated, because we spent 5. And then, office maintenance, we've also spent 90,000 already this year, you guys got 2,200, so they're at least coming up to
Yeah.
1,200.
So we just broke out some of these things
Right.
too. We added a whole software subscriptions thing that absorbs some of the stuff.
12,000 stuff.
Okay.
Right, because we
That's
have,
where, then let me
yes.
say if you put some historical in there, because to me, I thought that was my next question, what are we buying that's now 12,000?
No, that has always come underneath office equipment
Okay.
maintenance.
So, you know what I mean, maybe, even though you didn't break it out, give us a guesstimate, so people aren't thinking we're spending 12 grand before that, I'm sorry, you could just do a guesstimate. You don't have to do a precise number, but,
Right.
you know,
Brian,
I
put
mean,
11.
somewhere you got the 12,700, so you must have a number in your
Right,
head.
put
If it was
11,000 in that
12,700,
box.
you know what I mean?
There you go. Good job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know what I
Okay, I'm
mean,
with you.
otherwise people think, why are we, and that was my question, what software are we buying? What's
No,
the
it's our
Okay.
regular subscriptions we have to pay.
Gotcha, okay.
And I like that you broke it out because,
It's more clear.
right, because like in July and August, you always get hit with that big amount.
Right.
And it's like,
You use all your budget,
Exactly.
we're sitting there thinking like, yeah, okay, what's gonna happen? I understand, so. My next was, I wasn't sure excise tax, is it 72.28, is that the percentage? Because I just looked at like.
can
that's
can I
the-
pause just one
Yeah.
second? Under office supplies, that's another thing that we get hit with in like July and August also, is we do Brian's taxes out of that.
Right, and the postage.
Yeah.
It is the early.
Okay.
So, but I mean, you have it at 6, we've historically spent 5. Are we okay, or you think we need to up it?
I can't think what it usually costs to send all your stuff out.
Well, that's postage and.
Well, no, I mean, it
Plus-
just what we pay to HBP for it.
Okay.
I want to say it's around $2,000, isn't it?
I mean, I feel like we need to up it, you know what I mean? Telling, because I found him some money that.
I would up it a smidge.
How much you want to make it?
$1,000.
7,000? Got it. Okay. Next.
All right. We just did police, so that's all my info.
Okay, so we're going past. Time moving over tonight.
Okay, so we're hiring a new public works part-time park person. 17,280.
Yeah, that's what Greg was asking for, yeah. So we used to always have one.
We did.
Yeah, but we also used to have 8 guys and now we got 9. Just saying.
9?
Yeah, don't we have 9 public works things?
No,
No.
we only have 5.
Well, and then.
With
the 4,
Greg.
So 5 and 4.
Yeah, there's 5 of
We
them.
used to have 8 and now we got 5 and 4, so
Yeah.
sorry. I called them all public works.
Oh,
So you were counting for the whole
Yeah.
thing.
But
Okay, but yeah, but the other 4 guys, they don't come out of general fund at all.
Right, but I mean, are we gonna save on the mowing contract if we're hiring somebody? Because again, we get into benefits, workers' comp. Like in 1728, it's not a very big
We're not
salary.
hiring them with
We
benefits,
don't.
that's a part-time
It's a
employee.
part-time job.
That's just straight salary.
Yep.
Okay, but it'll
It'll
still.
still, it'll still be under,
So they'll do,
Well,
what I understand is they'll do like the yard debris. So like Greg's regular guys won't get paid the extra money to do the yard debris.
so the money we save on that will pay for his salary.
The new flowers, from what I understand, are kind of going to go in for this beautification stuff, if it happens. They got to be watered almost every day.
I'm just asking, you know, like I said, we definitely know we have a need in the police budget before we.
I
have
figured
something else.
a kid from high school would jump on that.
chime in there, Eric, you've been in these conversations, don't miss anything?
I'm waiting till you're done,
Okay.
until I give my one remark.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think the pension was a little understated because I think it's supposed to be 7% of whatever.
Correct, it's 7%.
Salary, so.
I
that's
thought
what
I-
Needs to come up some on that.
I thought I
don't think you
changed it.
changed that.
Employee pension.
So 8,500,
Up just their base salary.
Well, it would be, I guess we don't have to do pension for part-time.
Right.
So it would be on our base. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have my phone to do mine.
Eight-
But I left my.
At 9,000.
All right, my next one was the vehicle gas.
I had-
Okay.
the pension I had at 89, almost 9,000.
Yeah, I had 85 on my paper, that's fine.
Did I not change that
A
one,
little
Brian?
under. Yeah, so I think it needs to go to 9, right?
Yeah.
Right, because you also have to take in consideration, that's also,
You get it?
they do overtime into that too, so it's whatever,
Okay, I was concerned about vehicle gas and maintenance because, we spent more than what's budgeted last year. You know what I
Okay, we
mean?
divided this category up too, didn't we, Brian?
No, this one was already divided up, at least historically, you've got numbers in there.
I don't understand how they only use, March, $7,000. Yeah.
Well, we buy it from the
Well,
county,
it's
and the
whack.
county billed you like 60 days after, so it might only be through January of actual what in their cars.
What's the other years out there historically, Brian? Go back and look.
We spent 16.2 last year,
Yeah.
and we, you know, I mean, we budgeted 25, and we've only got 10 now.
Yeah, I think I'm only in February for
Yeah.
the gas.
It's on
Say
a
that
lot.
again.
I said, I think I'm only in February for the gas as far as
It
paying
just
them.
depends on which category and where we are with the numbers.
Okay.
And see, we spent 18 on maintenance and repairs. And from those, like,
But historically, I don't think it's the same. It's up and down with the repairs.
yeah, the repairs are up and down. I thought it would be this year, I would
Yeah,
think.
last year they spent a lot of time working on that one truck that was all rusted out.
So what's a comfortable number for you for gas?
I would say at least 25, that's what you put it at last year. Not that we, but we came in under that.
I'll put it at
If you want to
20.
do 20,
I'll put it at
I'm okay
20.
with
Well,
that.
gas isn't getting cheaper.
I know, that's what I worried about.
I keep it at 25.
But we did come in under that in 2023,
Put it at
so
20, Brian.
if you put 20 and 20 for maintenance, I feel like you're at least at what we had, what we spent
Okay.
last year.
All right, 20 again.
And 20 for maintenance.
Got it. Okay.
The interest on these assets, I really didn't know what that was.
The who?
Under parts, interest
I don't
on
know
these
why
assets.
it
I would,
showed up under.
yeah, I would put that back into miscellaneous or something. Jason just probably broke it out for some reason. It was the first line on Parks and Recreation.
Oh, interest
So
on
we
these
got
assets.
this. Yeah, unless it came from the budget or his audit thing, yeah. And then the only other thing I have is under capital improvements, it's the special projects funding the reservoir. I mean, I guess that's really just, it's gonna be a loan to the water fund, right? Like we're gonna spend general fund money on the water reservoir, right?
I think we considered it.
I
Yeah,
don't
or
think
just
we're
kind of giving
considering
it
it
a
yet.
We're not expecting to be
No,
paying that. Okay.
No, because that's a moving target, Marilee, and we're just
So
trying
it's kind
to,
of a grant to the
Yeah.
water fund.
yes.
All right.
All right, so I gotta fix that. That's no problem. Okay. Are we done with the general? Move it
They
to-
were my comments.
Okay, Aaron?
Anybody else gonna fill in? They were-
Yeah.
I like listening to you. She's good at this. That's why I'm glad she's here.
Yeah.
But back to Mary's comment about the rescue funding money being shown here. This is our whole discussion of why we didn't want it in here. We wanted it in special projects. And we're gonna talk to Jason later this week, see if we can come to some middle ground.
Well, you still have to show it's going out of the general fund to that. Like you have to show money's coming out of there. It's general fund money. It's from our tax
Well,
base and that. And you have the ARPA money there.
And I hear what you're saying, and you're to have your general ledger hat on,
Yeah,
and I'm not.
gotcha.
Because if you look at last year's budget and this year's budget and next year's budget, the bottom lines are very inconsistent.
Yeah, they are because of all
stuff's
that.
in there.
I
So we're trying
understand.
to come to some middle of the road to keep that consistency. So that's all I'll say about that.
Well, but it's always gonna be that because
It's-
Brian's gonna have to do it based on the general ledger
Well,
on a daily basis bookkeeping. He's not gonna be able to
Well, and
do
the
another,
water and sewer, it
like,
makes it, it's the same situation.
But if we create another entity and remove these accounts from the general water and sewer, I mean, it'll decrease their assets and then the liability.
well, Jason lets you do that. I mean, again, but then that entity's gonna have numbers that go all over the board. You know what I mean? You're gonna have numbers that go all over the
But
board.
it's all gonna be confined to that one fund. It's not gonna be causing the general fund's numbers to be going up in there, because it's gonna be removed from there.
Well, it's, again, that entity, where is it getting funded? Because it has no set funding
Oh,
from a tax base
True, that's
or revenue.
true.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
it would
not to-
only be from grants,
that-
Wow.
which are gonna be
Not to
a
believe
total
that
variable.
that's happening, but yes, it'll mostly be from grants. But down, further down, the last thing we talked about was what the general fund was subsidizing
Oh,
the
you're back.
Right, right,
So it
You're
would
back.
be that sort of thing.
So
We're,
just,
we're gonna talk to Jason and get back. to
right.
all
But you
that.
know what I mean? Again, that money would be coming out of the general fund, so some way, shape or form, it's gonna have to be shown on the general fund that it's going to your other.
but it's just gonna be a line item going
Which
goodbye.
is what you're doing now. It's a line
No,
item.
no, because up here, we got all this other crap too. With all the funding up here that we're trying to get rid of.
Well, you only have your two things, that your grants for, your projects.
Because we got all this up here.
Right, and your ARPA funds, but you only have it as two lines, like when you're saying, but it's still.
You say potato, I say potato.
Okay,
I'm moving
I
on. Let's go to the water
understand.
fund. All right, I'm at the top. Where are we?
Okay, well, your interest income is significantly different than what you've got for year to date. Is that because we haven't separated it out year to date into the water fund?
So I think what they budgeted in 24 was pretty much, did we change this back down since we decided? I don't know if we changed that since we talked about getting rid of 3+1, but
Well, that was on the agenda for tonight too. We're not there yet.
in talks with the, we did have this number significantly lower and we were told to keep it up because he thought 3+1 would give us.
Well, we made
25 to
85 in 2023, and interest rates are better, although I know we're going to be spending some of what we've got that we're earning interest on or have invested. My concern is we're only showing 20,000 to this point this year. So that means either we haven't put interest money into we haven't, showed our accrued interest. You know what I mean? Because that kind of doesn't get done till year end. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just asking, is that a realistic number, or that's all I'm asking? Is it just was significantly more, you know what I mean?
And then we have to also consider we're spending this money.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
So
right.
it's,
All right, so
Okay. So that was my only question here. I'm fine leaving it at that, if you think it's a realistic number, I just want to make sure you thought about it.
Okay.
So,
moving on to something else.
pensions might be a little low, we can do that now.
Okay.
Office supplies, I wasn't sure, we spent 18 last year, we only got 15, same budget, but we haven't spent it yet this year. Electricity seems a little low. Especially doesn't that stupid contract have an automatic increase in it every year? Again,
With
The solar.
the solar.
solar farm, And then I know you guys said that chemicals have been up, so we kept that budget kind of pretty close. So just as long as you guys, because I don't go to the BAC meetings to know. You guys are more in tune with those spending.
That's back on follow-up discussion.
Yeah, I just know you said the price was, so did we make sure we allow for that in the budget?
as far as office supplies, again, some of it got broken out with this new subscription thing.
Okay.
So I think we should.
So if you're okay, then you think, okay, then that's
Well,
perfect.
did I change the pension number? What did you have? Oh, I'm sorry.
I came up with like 18.3 instead of 16 when I did that, but that was.
So I've got it,
7% of the 239,992, 16,800.
Yeah, but you gotta do your overtime. Don't we have to pay it on everything?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
okay.
Sorry,
So then we will have to, I did it straight on just salary.
I think it's on everything in here, it's 7%.
And they get a lot of overtime in water and sewer.
And again, you know, if the salary's coming under, that comes in under.
Right, right, it's still, it's
Just to
exactly.
me, if you're gonna figure,
He's making changes.
Is that exactly or 18.5?
18.5. Okay. All right. Anything else in water?
No,
Just so everybody understands, it's way up there in revenue. Those numbers.
we're based on 26 new tax connections.
I'm gonna say,
For
year
EDUs.
two of the plan,
The what?
year two of the plan.
Oh, no, okay, so we're talking two different things. We're
Oh.
talking the rate increase on the fixed fees, and we're talking taps.
Right.
So this number up here, I can't even read what it says, Brian.
822.
Okay. No, I mean, what's the note say?
Oh,
Oh,
current rates would be $765,000 year with the year to increase $822,000.
Right, so that's where that comes from. And we talked about that the very
when
first
you
time.
say year two, is it year two starting July 1?
Yeah.
So that's the note from last year.
If we approve. it.
No, if we, the 7-year plan that we put out for the rate increases, the fixed fees,
Right,
this number in the column is the second year.
okay,
That includes the increase. If you don't do the increase, it's gonna drop that revenue.
right, and you didn't give us that breakdown, which I think is the next thing we need to put.
That's in his comment.
Right, but I mean, you know how before we always did
I
our
gave you the
water.
whole thing last time, but I can get it to you again. The 7-year plan.
Okay. You know what I mean, like we always did a page with the water and sewer rates, you know, for
Yeah.
your track.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I mean, right.
like that needs to be in our presentation on.
Yeah.
the budget.
Okay.
So,
And Allentown rate two needs to be on that sheet, which
Right.
I know I mentioned that I had like 2 years ago.
But that money's not, well, not the rate increase, but your connection fees are also then what you're spending on the special projects. So if we don't get that, obviously, that
Right.
affects our special
And
projects.
here's on the connection fees, we have two scenarios. I think we just had it highlighted there. One's a more conservative and one was a little bit not conservative. Now we know that we're gonna maybe be getting Dunkin' Donuts coming on. Drew, how many was that gonna be? 3, did you say?
3.
Commercial taps?
Oh, Dunkin' Donuts, I don't know. It's 8 based on the water line size.
Right.
It's 3 for highs.
Okay. But the highs was included in this number, correct?
Yes.
But we didn't have Dunkin' Donut included, so that's gonna be a bonus that we'll earn, but I don't know how to forecast it. I don't know how soon it's gonna be coming
We're
on.
gonna probably come down.
26 is a good bit of EDU connection, so. Right, why not put the other ones?
What's the number that we're showing?
26, 10.5.
Drew, what would be a wild guess that Duncan will come down from 8 to 3 when they do a fixture unit count or something?
I don't think it'll come down to 3. I think it'll probably come down to 4 or 5 because
You don't
if,
think that'll be more than that?
well, the only reason I say that is if they're gonna cook there and make the donuts there, but I don't know what kind of Dunkin' Donuts it is. Some of them are delivery only.
Yeah.
Some of them make them for like the surrounding Dunkin' Donuts and they'll use a ton of water. So I don't know what they're planning there. If it's a pickup station, probably less than 3. If it's a cooking station, it's probably gonna be more.
So Drew forecasted how many, Brian?
26,
38.
oh, 38.
You don't have the little.
Okay, okay.
So-
I was doing the math.
Yeah.
274.3 was 26.
Yeah, so he forecasted 38, we dropped it back to 26.
So highs, so you're talking 20 houses, which is the max allowable in Eric's plan.
Most of your EDUs in your next budget, you're coming from commercial,
Okay.
not coming from residential.
Okay.
You will get a few from Dean South, but most of your taps that you're gonna get are gonna be coming from the auction house, highs. I mean,
Okay.
Petro has to buy 12 sewer taps and 7 water taps. That's a
We
lot.
had Battlefield in there too, didn't we?
Okay.
I had a couple of units in Battlefield, but that's a guess.
Okay.
But he can pull a permit in 90 days and start, so
16.
Okay.
Yeah.
I-
You had
Again,
16 in your
It's
original.
all going to the special projects. So the only thing, it's not gonna like, somebody's not gonna get paid. It's gonna be, now we
Someone's
gotta
not
look.
gonna get funded.
Right, now we gotta figure on our big project.
That's why we have a conservative number.
This is the sewer plant all over again, there.
Yes.
That's the trouble.
Okay.
Yes, I understand.
So staying in revenues, where you going next?
I was done with water fund. I was.
Oh. Wow.
Eric's back up. It's Eric. It's one more.
It's my fault.
It's one more.
Okay, all right, well then I'm gonna back up one more time to the general fund then, because we didn't talk about, I did talk about this when we did this the first time, but this sanitation charge
It's at
is the
$30,
increase.
right.
Okay.
I'm just saying, when we post this for public
Yes,
input,
yes,
I feel like it needs to be how we do the breakdown of,
yes. Okay,
that it shows, so people don't think we're like sneaking it in.
no,
So I'm saying.
okay. Bless you.
Thank you. There'll be another one.
So the only thing I saw there was the pension again, it should be like 12,250 instead of 11.
Did I get the right section yet, Brian?
And then my
Well, there's.
concern about the electricity.
He's gonna make the adjustment.
Since we spent 138,000 last year, and you guys have got 95. So unless the Blue Cross is saving us a bunch of electric power too, I guess we could be grand.
Has anybody from the public ever come in and looked at this stuff in these meetings?
Me.
That
Before it ran.
we should be good.
What'd you get?
12,250 instead of 11.
I think my numbers didn't include the overtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, my next concern was just the electricity budget, middle of operating, 95.
Scroll over, Brian. I can't.
We spent 138 in this week.
Are those bills lagging at all?
Yeah,
Which ones?
the
The
electricity
electricity for
bill.
the sewer plant?
About a month behind. But solar is a good month or two behind. So,
So, you know, even if, yeah,
What movie?
Current older.
New, the current, yeah, back up to the 25, okay. So what number were you thinking?
I mean, we budgeted 120 this year, so I can't imagine why we would decrease it, especially when we overblew the budget last year.
What's that
But
number right there?
Because I'm saying, I didn't know if the
And
Blue
that was
Press
March.
is gonna help
May,
us
June,
with
that's
that
3.
situation.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
a month
this
behind.
isn't through April. It could be through it could be through February.
But the solar farm is what, 3 months behind, you say? 2, 3 months?
it's about two.
And I'll
Plug
let you pull this
125 in
before
there.
after she.
Yeah, I was gonna say 130, 125.
Okay, what else?
And I do know the solar farm has a built-in increase every year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, in the historical, you just need to break out your loan interest versus principal. Ways by the treatment plan.
Okay.
Either you got nothing and
Okay,
over budget, that's just, you got.
well, I think that's because,
No, you got the budget right. Sarah, historical,
Yeah.
he's just got to split his payment. His
Right.
payment didn't get booked for interest and principal, all got booked to one.
Okay.
That's just.
Got it.
Heck, I thought by the time I looked at that, one broke down.
The budget broke down, the historical payment, so
Yeah.
this year's payment just needs to, he's got 309, 480.
And the water. bill might be broken. But I think-
All right.
Um,
So I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's Brian's.
Yeah,
He's
I gotta fix these numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
then I wasn't sure what your special project funding of 100,000 is in that for, what exactly, is that going
It's over here.
over here?
Mhm.
Oh, the dewatering press, okay.
Okay. And And then I know you asked about the Schaefer Park well, so Brian did pull me some numbers today. So it looks like we're probably gonna have to have about $115,000 in FY '25. It's not gonna be paid in '24. So,
So do we, but we'll more than likely have reserve carryover because we came in under budget this year that we can pull that
I'm
from? or
hoping,
we don't?
yeah, I mean, because I don't think we spent it. So, but that was one project I haven't even worked on, was the well, because it was,
Gotcha.
I thought it was well done.
Right. So, but isn't it, shouldn't we have bills for that? Like,
Well, he told me what he had.
right, but what you have now, but even if it's billed and owed, I mean, the project's done by June 30th, a payment.
Right.
So it'll be this year's budget. You know what I mean?
It
Even
all,
if the
it
check
all
doesn't get
hinges on
cut,
that
but
testing,
it's
Testing.
because they can't put that
Okay.
one line in until the testing's done.
Gotcha.
What did you say, a couple paragraphs ago,
Prior years,
reserve carryover?
yeah.
Say that again? Reserve carryover?
Prior year reserve care, yeah. Like you put that in the new budget, that
I just want to hear
it's
you.
prior year funds
wanted to
that
hear you
wasn't
say it.
spent to go in here. Yeah, because otherwise I don't know how you're gonna, we don't have the money for it, like, you're gonna have to find some money. Just saying. So my question on the special projects, so are your numbers up here by the project, that's your estimated cost? Like the reservoir is now at 10,750, or 10,750? No, I wish it was 10,750, I'd love it. Okay, the sludge dewatering press, 100,000 to complete, is that what we're anticipating? Okay, so that's what, I just wanted to make sure, maybe you could say in the presentation, reservoir replacement, estimated project cost. You know what I mean, for those numbers, to make it clearer to the public, does that make sense? Like, then I wouldn't call this subsidy, I would call it dewater press sewer fund, like CIP, it's capital improvement, it's not really,
Okay.
does that make sense? You know what I mean, and then it just,
To show this sheet to the public?
well, it's part of your budget presentation.
I mean,
I
it's
feel
a
like,
breakout
yeah.
of one of the, well, of two of the, well, all three of the
It's-
funds. but,
Yeah, all three of the
so,
funds. So,
I mean, I guess we can do that too.
I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, it's the first I thought we were, but after Jason's comments, and you know all that stuff back, I thought maybe we weren't.
well, then I think you're back to putting better explanations in your detail, and I thought that's what you guys did.
Trying to get away from, so yeah, we'll just clean this one up. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
So, yeah, so,
Same
yeah.
thing, subsidy, it's capital, it's
So
a chip.
some of our projects clearly aren't funded.
Correct.
Oh, for sure. That's why we wanted to show it like this.
I mean, and the ones that aren't funded, which obviously not gonna be moving forward, if they do, then we're gonna have some mid-year change to the budget.
Gotcha.
I went to the reservoir once, and
I can't walk that far.
It's the top right there. You can, oh, come on, you have a badge or a medal, you can run that far.
I knew it would come out sooner. What you got?
He's our only.
There's only one person that's ever beat me, and that was Terry's daughter, because she has a damn motorized stroller.
Whatever.
Anyway, I'm hearing her.
Okay, I'm just looking at that.
Okay.
Are you looking in amazement, is that what it is?
No, I'm just looking.
So again, I will throw out that question. So our interest that we're booking here on the ARPA, we didn't like count that in that interest for the water fund number. And to make sure we can double count.
No.
Okay.
No. So,
No, ARPA's reflected in the general fund, and then that interest money has been factored into
Gotcha.
what we're moving over.
Anybody else got any more changes or suggestions?
No, I want this to be done if we can, so.
Hearing none, are we ready to do a public hearing in May?
No, I mean, these are just,
So
this grant thing.
to answer Howard's question that's a good question. Are we ready to do a public hearing in May? Once I get these changes back and send out to y'all, can I do it by email or do you want to?
No, I,
Email's fine.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I feel like you guys have done a wonderful job. Like I said, I addressed all my issues. I sent you some Friday when I had a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I just wanted to make sure we do break out, you know, the trash is going up $5 a quarter and how much it speaks to the water and sewer and all that.
Okay.
So we can put it at 6:30?
On
On May the 13th?
May 13th.
Are we hearing 6:30?
And I will not be able to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be told.
Sorry, I know you'll be thrilled, so we'll go much faster. I won't be here.
What date?
Can't go over.
Monday, May 13th.
May 13th.
You go ahead and advertise that.
Mhm.
So we'll clean this up and
Make the PowerPoint.
we gotta make.
Yep, make the PowerPoint.
Right, because we'll need, so the ordinance is pretty much the same ordinance we do every year, and then we attach the budget to it. But the ordinance also has the water and sewer, sanitation, water and sewer rates in it and everything too. So we'll nail all those numbers.
So Tony, the budget here this week, you're here for the purpose of helping Jason, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. That's just for Jason.
It's Thursday, maybe? When is that meeting? Brian?
Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Yes.
See, Mary Lee, I hate to say this, but.
They don't stay very long because they got knocked out.
If you look at that sheet right there, where the rescue plan money's in there, and then all the rest of that stuff, grants and special stuff.
Right.
Which is not.
Right, and I understand what you're saying, because I know when I first looked at historical audit, there were such big flotations, but once I dived in, I understood it.
We're getting there.
Yeah, I just, the way they want you to present it by their standards, I'm sure, are just, you know what I mean, the way they want you to present it, so.
No, I think you guys, like Mary Lee said, I think you guys have done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think, you know, color coding the stuff so that we, you know,
I
we knew
changed
what's
some,
new,
yeah.
we would follow the code, we follow where it came from the other people into there, I think we're good.
I think Tony deserves a cash award for working on this, honest to God.
Yeah. It's a task.
It is a task, but we're good.
Sounds good. Let's move on. This gentleman's been waiting patiently. Out of town water and sewer connection policy. Drew?
It's called up there, Brian. So, one of the things that came up since I've been working here is I've received at least 2 separate calls from individuals who live outside of the town boundaries, but have a town water line right in front of their house. And so I went to the BMUC and I asked the question, I said, what is the policy of the BMUC in the town of Boonesborough? The answer was, we don't have one. So we discussed it at a couple of meetings. Do we need a policy? Is it important? Why is it important? Why is it not important? And the reason it's important is if you don't have a policy, you're a public entity. If somebody decides they want to connect to your 12-inch water line in front of here,
I stole that.
you don't have a policy.
What did you
can't
tell
tell
me
them no. If somebody could tap on the water guy, you can charge a tap fees and they would get bills, but that might take your capacity for your plant. So the BMUC discussed, the BMUC just, oh, man, Kim, did you tell him?
I did, he was gonna cry.
Oh, yeah, you found it.
So I asked, what was the desire of the BMUC? And they said, draft a policy that says that that is not our intent. That our intent is only to provide water within the town boundaries unless, and that's what the policy says, unless there is a specific health verifiable threat. You can't just come to the town of Boonesborough and go, my well's bad, You gotta, yeah, no. It has to be something like happened to Boonesboro 30 years ago, you know, the water got extended and everything like that. So the BMUC looked at this over a couple of meetings. Water is what we're dealing with right now, but they said, let's hold sewer out there too. We don't have any sewer that's outside, but we might, so we'll just let people know, this is our general policy. But the key here is that the town of Boonesboro, that it is preferred to provide water and sewer services within the town boundaries, because then you get the taxes and you get the control by the planning and zoning. However, due to public health concerns, blah, blah, blah. So one exception to this, if you are, and this was a debate because we have a member on the BMUC that represents people that are outside of town. He lives in front of a water line. And he said, if I've been living in front of a water line for 20 years, and I'd like to hook to it, is that a problem? And what the BMUC says, we don't want people to be able to use this for subdivisions and growth. So the exception was to limit it to only an 1.5-inch service connection, because that's all a house takes. So you can't subdivide, you wouldn't get it. And then we could give this policy to the county, so the county knows when they're subdividing properties around the town of Boonesboro where our water lines go. Don't just assume they can connect to it, because some people have called me and said that. I was like, oh, no. And in addition, I always do maps, it's just my thing, because we can say everything, but we never know exactly what we're talking about. These are the water lines we're talking about. The ones you see highlighted, when it goes up alternate 40, past the yellow house. The one that's the real scary one is the 12-inch line between Keedysville and Boonesboro. Because you can build a lot of houses on a 12-inch line, that thing runs at about 100 PSI.
So Drew, to that point, not to interrupt you, if anybody comes in and says, hey, I know I'm outside of town limits, there's the water line, I want to hook up. How do we determine if it's Boonesboro or Keysville that gets that tap fee?
In that area, you don't. That's one of the reasons you want the policy.
I mean, I don't even know if my question makes sense.
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's outside of Boonesboro.
But that brings up the question, if Boonesboro has a policy that you can't and Keysville says you can, then what happens?
Keedysville doesn't have any lines running outside of its boundaries.
Okay, because
We
we have.
do the
Because
lines.
we're trying, okay, that's why I'm asking.
Here's the big concern. Here's the big concern. You guys are the only big, and you have to think of yourself in Keydysville as one. If your water system is. You guys are the only growth center in this whole area.
Right.
So it's gonna get funneled
Plus,
to you because of your public water and sewer. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. They're gonna start gravitating to get that public because they can get the densities that they want. So you're identifying here on yours, but Eric, you're dead right. If they bought it in the middle between two towns, who the hell gets the fee?
So if somebody builds a house across the street from Crystal
We do, because
Drive,
it's our water line.
I
They're tapping
I
connected.
just didn't know how that worked.
I would assume it would, I don't even know how that would work. I don't think 10-to-1 new agreement doesn't address that at all. So no one's thought of it, but that's fine. This is your policy. This is your policy. No water lines outside of Keysville. We can bring it up and share it with Keysville and give them the reasons. They may will. Can we copy this? Absolutely.
Maybe
They'll
we'll
feel
talk
free.
about it next, Boonesboro, Keysville water.
Yeah, we can talk to them about it.
Coming up like next week, isn't it, or something, real soon.
So I'm gonna write it to staff.
Yeah, I believe it's
report for you
next week.
guys, like I do for everything.
I think it's next week.
We'll have the history, we'll have all the attachments. That will be for your 13th meeting. You will get that in advance of that. I just wanted to give you the background here at your workshop to say, it was the BMUC's decision that it is not the town's intent to be providing water outside of its town limits unless there's a public health emergency. Number one, the council has to decide, do you agree with that or not? If you do agree with that, do you want to put a restriction, and it is having the one exception for just 1.5-inch water line? Okay, if you're okay with that, because this policy, remember, the BMUC is no longer its own entity. It makes recommendations, so this is just a recommendation to you all. I'm asking if we could put that on the May agenda or a formal vote.
Sure.
Up, down, any questions, concerns, comments?
Because that's what the BMUC wanted. So, yeah.
This might be a stupid question, but why would someone want to pay a town for water and sewer when you can get your own well?
They don't, because you get the density. You can't get the density. If you
Right.
try to build in the county without a public water and sewer, you gotta have, for every house, you gotta have at least an acre and a half.
Right.
So if you wanna do a townhouse,
Mhm.
or you wanna do like a strip mall, you have to either build a private water system right there, or you wanna connect to one. Whole lot easier to connect to one. You don't have to file all the reports and all the stuff that we do.
But that was the point of why we did the annexation agreements and define our town limits.
So that
That-
they controlled it. Right.
Yeah, so that
It follows suit with why you did, because I've heard the annexations were done in 2006 to prevent the county from doing it. What the
Right.
county was
That's
trying
what
to do,
Mr.
I don't
Goodman,
think
yeah.
you guys realize what the county was trying to do. Look what happened to Hagerstown. Hagerstown started providing water and sewer outside of its town boundaries. And then they wanted to stop it, they couldn't, because they'd been providing it. And I think the county was kind of pushing Boonesboro toward the direction of, they just had to put in this big water plant, smart growth, let's just start building subdivisions around there and they'll connect to water like City of Hagerstown, they'll start providing all of it, and they'll take care of it. But I don't think that's what Boonesboro wants. So I mean, that's the question. And this policy lets every developer, the county, the state know our town boundary.
Well, let me say a few things if I may. We've already been here too long, so what the hell's there for minutes? Bring this up at the Newport Key Water Board, and I'm fine. And then number two, is my favorite subject about these houses, guys want to go up in the mountain.
Yeah.
That's in town limits. Our water line runs by the street, obviously, but it's on the builder to run the line that's 300 feet up in the mountain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely. We go to the property line. That's where we stop.
That's it.
That's where the vault goes. It goes right at the property line. If your house is 3 feet away, great. If it's 300 feet away, sorry about your rate. No different than running your cable service. If you have cable and you're right there, they just hook you up. So they gotta run it down the half-mile road, you're gonna pay for it.
To say that again, I didn't quite follow that in my description up there. So we go
Right to the property line.
but those property lines are way up the mountain.
Those are their lines, and if that line breaks and starts leaking, they're paying for it because it's running through a meter.
Okay, well, how'd that thing read? Back up to your reading again.
But then did somebody watch them put an 1.5 inch water connection up there?
They're required for fire protection now.
The town inspects up to the meter vault, because it's our water system. From the meter vault into the house and throughout the house is the plumbing inspector.
Okay.
Okay, back up for just one more second. We're still talking about the St. Paul.
Right.
They're subdividing that into five lots.
Are, they did.
Well, okay, they did divide it into 5 lots. There's more than one water meter gonna be up
Absolutely.
Where I was
There'll
going.
be 5.
Not to interrupt you, Tony, but where I was going with that. Oh, well, I understand that. Adjacent to the town's water lines, well, it doesn't say, yeah, they're adjacent, but they're 500 feet off the road.
But they're not out of town, they're in town.
They're
So
already
it's
there.
different. So this is out of town,
This is out of town only.
you know what I mean? Because those
Well,
lots are in town,
Yeah, well,
because that property's
I
in.
think they are.
They are.
Okay.
But if one of those lots is 350 feet up, and we have to supply that,
We do
Not
not.
to the house. They have to run from our connection to their house.
We just go to the property line.
We just go to the property line.
We gave, that's what we basically gave them permission. Basically gave them permission to set up their lots. But they still have to,
They have to run the water lines through.
they have to get.
They're not the town, that's not-
Water in.
so
Yeah.
we'll have 5 meters down here at the road. Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm just making sure I understand what we're saying because, okay, all right.
Yeah,
All right, because that's the only way you're gonna make it work is to have them down here.
it is, and they're gonna be all right next to each other because there's a panhandle that coming up where the feed's
Okay.
supposed to come to feed all.
All right,
That is if they.
as long as that's the understanding, I'm good then.
Some more conversation about that, I think, when it happens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is for you all for Monday. That's the general gist of it. Think about it. If you have questions or anything, please ask. Think of something else that should be added or whatever. Again, all you're trying to do here is you're just trying to identify to the public and the greater agencies at large that, hey, the water lines that run outside of our town boundaries, they're not protected.
One exception.
Good job, sir.
Thank you for having
Is
me
that all you
too.
got?
It's not 2 hours. Had our meeting.
Yes, that is always the goal. That is always the goal.
And we appreciate that.
Can't say I beat
Yeah, 2-0.
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay, what's What's next?
Okay, 3+1 investment.
Go ahead.
Do you all want to keep it? You want to rescind it? Get rid of it?
Let's just,
Can I talk now?
Yes, sir.
I voted yes last time, basically to throw Jared a bone, I think. Since the auditor, we already knew we were investing properly, honestly. Since the auditor has confirmed that since Jared left, I don't see any reason to keep it. I think somebody else did this actually, when I wrote it down. I think we have enough on our plate with that one more thing. But then we already, that's a motion to cancel it. But did we already sign a contract with him?
no,
So Jared signed it.
Well, does that make it null and void, or how does that work? I don't think it makes it null and void.
Yeah.
So how do we get out of it?
Well, I followed that email, if I may. I mean, they didn't. act-
They didn't fight back.
Yeah, they didn't fight back. They just understood that, we had a change in.
And they said, if you're interested
Yeah,
in
they
another
said if
time,
there
let
was
us know.
Anything they could do for us in the future, it wasn't like they said we're obligated to continue on, so.
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to,
I mean, I'm fine if you want to just like motion to table it to the future until we get a town manager hired and let them recommend again if they want to continue pursuing or. I mean, if you want to do that versus just totally bagging it, I mean, I'm good. I totally.
Well, but if we keep it, it's $9,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it'd be
So,
better off just-
so we don't currently have a contract and we need to vote to break the contract because of the
Yeah.
time.
You have a motion that says you're going to approve the contract. and cancel that before you sign it.
right.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second to cancel the contract with 3+1 investment. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carried.
I just would do it the right way.
Okay, a couple quick things, upcoming events, Fishing Derby Saturday, May the 4th from 7:30 to 1. Farmers Market opening days Tuesday, 7th at 4 PM, Green Fest. Swap and recycle events Saturday, May 11th. Town election, May 14th, 7 to 8, also same day as the primary election. Spring curbside ball pickup is Saturday, May the 18th, wagon train the 19th. Annual Rescue Company Carnival starts the 24th through the 1st. Memorial Day Parade in Boonsboro is the 26th. Washington County MML meetings in Hancock this next month. Town Hall will be closed the 27th. Carnival fireworks is 31st. And don't forget, next month is Miss Poppy. Bring money, bring your
That's
dog.
May or June?
May.
Okay.
What the hell is
Miss
this?
Poppy, Miss Poppy.
Bring a dollar.
Just bring a dog.
Bring it.
Every time I bring a dollar, I get in trouble, Eric.
You're new, you don't take five.
It's for veterans, and they go around, they sell
Okay.
copies.
Here you
From
go.
the Legion.
Here's a little one to get.
Okay. At our next meeting,
Yeah.
make sure I have a dollar.
Mary Jane wanted to know if we picked a night. Because she's trying to do her schedule.
What night would you want to do?
I can do any night, I don't work. I'm trying to, so I need to know if you want to do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
I may not be back in town on Monday.
Okay.
Good job.
So what works for y'all? I don't care. I'm gonna do more than one night, but I wanted to go as a council, that's all. So pick a night, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Howard,
I'm there every night.
yeah, he's there, so.
I mean, I
I'm
can do
good.
Monday night, but
I'm gonna be there a couple nights.
Monday's a holiday, if you don't realize it.
All right.
It's the
I'll
holiday.
probably be around.
Why don't you? I'm gonna help as much as I can. My son is going to be in Ireland. I don't live right. He's gonna be on vacation and I have his new business. And, like, I know I'm gonna be like, up to my eyeballs in golf balls. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to help as much as I can, but I also know I'm gonna be.
Vacation.
So if you show up with a golf bag on your shoulder, we know that you're working.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be like, I don't quite know how my schedule's gonna be then. So
The shape things are
it's up
nice.
to me, huh?
The shapings are nice.
Thank you.
Let's do Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
Wednesday.
know, I will
And what
do
time
my
do you need to be
absolute best
there?
to make my husband be on.
5, 4, 5?
I think 5.
Okay.
And what date is Wednesday?
The 29th.
May 29.
And I'll let Mary Jane know.
Drew, did you find out anything on the house, the burn house? Is there any work that's gonna get done? Any?
Put a phone call in, I left a message, I have not heard back.
You won't hear
It's
anything.
been a month.
You won't hear anything till the
Oh,
fire
they
marshal
need to
and
get
the-
Right.
Townhouse, the townhouse that got fire up there off
Yep.
of, Robinwood
Yep.
is way longer than that.
The only thing that we can
It's a
enforce
slow
right away
process,
is
I've
making
been
sure
through
that
it.
the
It's a slow
sidewalk
process.
is clear,
Yep.
which
Right.
it is.
It's
And I'll go and take a look at it, and just look at
it's
the
a slow
structure.
process.
But until the fire marshal
Having
and
been
And
through a
insurance.
fire,
insurance company's done with it,
Yeah,
nothing's gonna
and then, I know, but
happen.
it's been looking
My
crap for a while,
My
Terry.
apartment burned down, it took months.
Yeah, my house burned down, I mean,
Any- Anything else? I hate to do this to you all, but it won't take very long. This meeting will be closed under general provisions, Article 3-305B.
Take care.
2, to protect the privacy or reputation of individuals concerning a matter not related to public business. And what I mean by that is Friday, I was,
wait a minute, we have to vote to go to closed session. I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
Second.
we have a motion and a second, any discussion, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Wait till Kim gets
Abstain.
recorded.
I'd ask Kim to stay too.
She's gotta get the
Yeah.
money.